I'm glad you've come, though I'm afraid there's little in the way of good news. After you left, we reached out to both the Alchemists Guild and Stillglade Fane and attempted all manner of treatments. But the results were always the same. Whatever the answer is, it's not alchemy or conjury. Why did it have to be Y'shtola and Urianger and not me? Out of all of us, they are the ones who could feasibly have solved this puzzle. And Alphinaud's still missing. Gods, it's all going wrong. Where do we even start?
A grave situation indeed. Might I be of some assistance?
Krile!
Krile! I thought you busy delving into the mysteries of Eureka.
Ah, Eureka sucks.
When word reached me of the plight of our friends, I could not well stay away. As a fellow scion, not to mention your erstwhile mentor, this is one of those times you should feel free to call on me, regardless of my personal circumstances.
Yes, I should have thought of that. Thank you for coming, Krile. We would welcome your insight.
And I should be happy to provide it. Now, what's this I hear about Alphinaud heading into Imperial territory? That boy always did have some funny ideas. Do you remember the speech he gave when he was accepted to the Studium?
My life's goal is naught less than the salvation of this star.
As usual, Krile knows what to say to try and diffuse the situation, as Alisaie is, frankly, completely emotionally unraveling here. So, there's that wisdom score again. By the way, good morning, everyone.
That particular grand pronouncement has been a source of great embarrassment to him, as you know. But the fact of the matter is, he meant every word and has lived his life accordingly.
Yes, he remains altruistic to a fault, but I'm worried he was too fixated on his goals to see the dangers, as has happened before.
You needn't be so concerned. Though his values remain the same, Alphinaud is not the blinkered boy he once was. Slowly but surely his eyes have been opened, thanks to a certain someone.
Yeah, no, Estinian did a good job on the kid.
A certain someone whom he'd be mortified to learn had heard about his little speech. Mum's the word, eh? Right, I'd better have a look at our patients. They're in the infirmary, I assume. I'll need absolute quiet, so it would be best if I did this alone. If you'll excuse me. All three are in fine physical health. At a glance, I would say they were merely sound asleep. Except for the fact that I couldn't sense the slightest trace of them in their bodies. It's as if their souls have taken leave of their physical forms.
Ah, yes. The Elder Seedseer made a similar observation.
I've read the report. When you heard this mysterious voice, you described feeling as if you were somewhere else, yes? If we assume the ether which comprises your essence is being drawn to some other place, then it may be possible to follow the trail it leaves behind, just as we did in our search for Thancred.
I wasn't around for that, but I can't imagine it was easy.
Oh, it wasn't. But that's no reason not to try. I will have need of Master Matoya's crystal eye if I'm even to make the attempt. So I suggest we pay her a visit.
Well, damn it, now we have to talk to Matoya. Ugh. Off to Matoya's. Jeez. Well, since we got a bit of a trip ahead of us, let's see. Both, most likely, Zaktev. Plus for co-op and negative for AI. I'm not sure, obviously, having not played the game. At least not played all the way through the game. Right, I gotta bring a gift. How about my gunblade? There we go. I'm joking, I like Matoya. But, you know what, speaking of which... Of course I had the big Bazinos conversation while you were asleep. Obviously, and it was very planned that way. And definitely not just because I'm kind of on a deadline and was trying to get stuff done. Let's see. Questions. Are any of these people here right now? There's no Casual, there's no Golden Ratio, there's Baron, there's no Evo, there's no Overseer, or Loke, or Ross, or Umbral Magnus, or Tim! Interesting. I have not seen that yet, Scion. I'll have to put that on my somewhat lengthy to-do list. Well, shoot. Well, whatever. We're hitting Shadow today. I don't know how long it's going to take. We've got a bunch of fairly lengthy cutscenes coming up. And a dungeon. And it's a biggin'. I do have you, Omega Legion. My point was that usually when I'm doing these kind of travel sections, it's prime QA material. You know, emptying out the queue. But all the questions in the queue are all of those people who are not here. So I like to save those until people are present. It gets rid of the AI. You know, that's really sad if getting rid of the AI is literally better. As in, no AI is better than having an AI. That's pretty sad. Probably true. But still sad. Yeah. I heard Master Matoya was something of a recluse, but this seems extreme. Yeah. I should also mention, just as a lore tidbit, this quest chain was the first time it really clicked with me that the ether that comprises people actually comprises two sections of people, which of course makes sense.
Come to disturb my peace again, have you? I hide myself away in a cave, and still you people insist on pestering me with your problems.
Listen, you can get back to your books later, alright?
Oh, I mistook you for young what's-his-name, but I see now you're the sister. Weren't you supposed to be the lively one? I've seen happier faces at a rain-sodden burial.
Thank you, Sputnik Lock. As always, I'll put that towards a GTA of my choice.
Well, I'm sorry to dash your expectations, but the situation isn't exactly conducive to gaiety.
Ha! That's more like it. Stoller used to spit and hiss like a wildcat too. Better for a young thing like you to be filled with fire and leave the doom and gloom to your elders. Now, what exactly does this tragic situation of yours have to do with me?
If I may, Master Matoya, we have need of your crystal eye once more.
Explain.
And Stoller is one of the afflicted, is she? Very well. She may be an ungrateful stray, but she's my ungrateful stray, and I'll not see her buried before I am.
Yeah, Astos isn't in the game yet, is he? Unless he's an end, in which case I don't want to hear it.
Right. Let us see what we can see. I'll begin from where our friends first fell, and cast my senses out from there.
What is it? Did you find them?
This doesn't make sense. How is it even possible?
How is what possible? Krile, what did you see?
The threads, they just ended. And no, I didn't lose track of them. I followed them as far as they went. It's as if they were cut off.
Could the ether have dissipated if it had? Oh gods! Their bodies are just husks. It's like the broodmother's daughter all over again.
No, this is different. The Kalyana girl was already dead, body and soul, when Lakshmi effected her resurrection.
Aye, let's not jump to conclusions. If their physical forms yet breathe and show no signs of wasting, then it follows that their souls must still be intact somewhere.
But where?
That's the question, isn't it, girl? Death has not taken them to the ethereal sea, yet there are no tracks left for us to follow.
We're no closer to an answer than when we started. But knowing their souls are still out there is progress of a sort. We just have to keep looking. Pray, excuse me a moment. Yes? I remember, but... What, to Alamigo? We're on our way. That was Lise. Apparently, a group of Populares have defected to Alamigo, and Maxima, the envoy Alphinaud left with, is one of them. I'm sorry. I realize we've barely begun here, but...
Go, child, go! You've made up your mind, and life's too short for dithering.
I'll do some digging in the meantime and see if there isn't some other method we could use to continue the search.
Let's be off then.
Oh, not again. The enchantment barely seems to take these days. I chalk it up to old age, but I rather doubt it's that simple.
Before they took ill, Y'shtola and Urianger were sharing notes on a thinning of the ether. It seems to be happening all over.
Does it now? And here I was, all set to blame my woes on that creaking mountain of refuse clogging up the Thaliac. I fear something has gone wrong. Still, there's naught to be gained from starting in shadows. You can only do what can be done, and that but one thing at a time.
You know, I'm not sure I ever caught the thinning of the ether foreshadowing there before. But yeah, it's all Alexander's fault. Stupid Alexander. Oomph. So I have a feeling of being grabbed by the scruff of the neck and having the nonsense shaken out of me. Sorry. So, what do you have for us, Maxima? See you around, Krile. You do your thing. Oops, no, that's an Alamigo. When I first did this, I thought the thinning had to do with the Black Rose. Eh, silly me. Since that's what the previous quest ended up on. I mean, very technically, but let's be clear. If you pull it technically, then you're wrong. So I'm afraid you're wrong, oh my god. Tootie patootie. Now we split up all over Omega Legion. As we should. I'll think about it, Scion. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I was actually playing some of the songs in my head, trying to think about what I thought of it.
I'm sorry to drag you halfway across the realm, but when Maxima mentioned Alphinaud, I thought you'd want to hear the news in person.
Ah, we meet again. Though I was hoping our reunion would be under more auspicious circumstances.
What happened to my brother? Where is Alphinaud?
Can't even hold herself back. I don't even blame her.
Never fear, my lady. Your brother was in fine health when I took my leave of him, and I have no reason to assume that has changed.
You assume?
If you will allow me, I shall endeavor to explain events.
Alice, it's okay. I get it. I get it. This is an ally, not an enemy.
Our troubles began not long after we departed Doma. While crossing the burn, we were fired upon by the Emperor's personal guard and forced to make an emergency landing. As we stumbled from the wreckage, our attackers fell upon us again, and we would have perished there and then were it not for the intercession of a third party, a band of mercenaries whose leader claimed to pursue a vendetta against the Ascians. This Shadow Hunter, as he styled himself, then escorted us out of the wastes to relative safety. Upon arriving back in civilization, I gathered my Populares colleagues and prepared to flee the Empire. Master Alphinaud, however, declined the invitation to join us, preferring to continue his investigation into the Ascian threat.
Well, at least he's not lying in a heap in the burn. Tell us more about these Ascian hunters. Who are they? And is Alphinaud still with them?
He is. As to who they are, I'm afraid I have nothing to tell you. Beyond the fact that they root out and destroy Ascians, they were unwilling to divulge anything which might serve to identify them. They would not even reveal their next destination. But Master Alphinaud asked to accompany them all the same. Since parting company with your brother, we've been engaged in a game of cat and mouse with the Emperor's guard. We made our way through province after province, finding the army busy restoring order wherever we went, until we finally arrived here in Alamigo. I cannot thank Commander Aldin enough for giving us such an unexpectedly warm welcome.
I'm not inclined to turn away refugees, no matter which land they call home. And if they can tell me how things lie in Garlemald, all the better.
It's actually fantastic to think about if you give it a moment. No, really, think about it. Remember how pissed the people are in Alamigo? Remember how willing they are to get a scapegoat, any scapegoat? Bringing in Garleans is actually an extremely dangerous thing because of the mob, but it's also absolutely the correct call and the right call, and Roban was right in pulling it. And of course, he is in charge here, so he's the one who makes that call, and he can placate the mob. Things lined up pretty nicely there.
On that subject, there is much I would tell you. During the course of our journey, we heard tales that an entire rebel army had been slaughtered in the space of a single night. It would seem my former comrades grew tired of putting down uprisings in the conventional manner, and chose instead to bring a formidable new weapon to bear. Details were sparse, but the rumor alone was enough to dampen the flames of rebellion. I have also heard reports that several companies have withdrawn from their designated provinces and begun marching westward. It is my assessment that the Empire's forces are mobilizing for a large-scale military engagement.
I told you they'd be coming. Nobody ever listens to me.
Westward? You mean they're getting ready to invade Alamigo?
Uh-huh.
We knew this was coming, but not that it would be so soon.
We've barely even begun to shore up our defenses. They won't stop an invading army.
No, they won't. Dispatch messengers to the Alliance leadership requesting reinforcements, and send word to our officers in the field to hasten completion of those border fortifications. Prepare to meet the Imperials head-on! No matter how quickly we act, we still want for time. When the enemy comes into view, our best recourse will be to open negotiations with their commander, and see that the ensuing proceedings take as long as possible.
Would you and Alize head to Doma and let Lord Hien know about this? I'm sure he'll want to hear about Alphinaud too.
Consider it done. We'll send word when...
Yep.
Untold sorrow must be changed. Ahead looms a calamity. Eon become instant. Throw wide the gates.
Getting a little bit more distinct each time. That hasn't quite hit the mark yet. But it's not either of us.
You heard it too. Well, at least we're both still standing.
Oh, thank the gods. I thought we'd lost you for a moment there. Why does this keep happening?
Damn good question.
I wish I knew. Nothing we've tried has brought us any closer to an answer. We'll keep working on it. But first, we need to go and see Lord Hien.
I'm sorry. I'm picturing if he actually grabbed Xenos with one of these. Like, not that that would work that way, but that would be extremely funny. Horrible. But, you know. Get a little, Benny Hill music going, you know. Uh-oh. Mega Legion's here to kill me for bad-mouthing Xenos. Xenos sucks! Ah! No, sorry. So Alphinaud is safe for the present. Now we need to worry about a full-scale Imperial invasion! I'm glad Lee's tasked us with visiting Lord Hien. Better to be dashing from place to place than sitting around stewing over things we can't change. Getting. That's a good question, Blade Chaval. It really is a good question. I'm not actually sure. No, yeah, you're absolutely right, Omega Legion. It's one of those... If you've been paying attention... Right. There's a lot of little puzzle pieces, multiple puzzle pieces, which combine to explain why it is that Garlemald hasn't just swept over everyone yet. And there's multiple. That's the best part. There are multiple reasons why Garlemald hasn't won, despite the fact that they have so many advantages. With arguably good writing. Or at the very least, complex writing. Hey! We've got Dalmaskins here. That's interesting. What are you doing here? The fall of Rabanastre was not the end of our nation. We will rise again. I come to represent the lands of Nagxia, which I don't remember where that is. Oh no, that's Boja, isn't it? My bad. But yeah, no, logistics being one, absolutely. I mean, Lys never had the Echo, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that? Question mark. After their humbling Magni and his Ornir have spent every waking moment training, defeat does not sit well with the little son. And of course, there's the Confederacy and the Kojin. Okay, gotcha. So it's not quite Boja. But that is, if I'm not mistaken, isn't their arc, along with their arc, both related to the Boja stuff? I could be misremembering, because I'm an idiot. Greetings, I was just discussing future endeavors with the members of our newly formed alliance. Kojin and the Confederacy you already know. It was our strength of arms that won the steps. Yeah, Krile isn't affected at all, which is interesting. Whereas Urian J certainly was, despite being substantially far away, physically. We've also joined by our neighbors from Nagxia and the indomitable citizens of Dalmasco. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was really off. Anyways. These proud people are united under a single purpose, to stand against the Garlean Empire. Yeah, by the way, an army is coming. One army, which might kill all of us, even completely unified, which is what I've been saying since the beginning, by the way. Some of you might have thought I was exaggerating for comedic effect. No, no. One legion, properly supplied and organized, could probably take on the rest of these. I thank you for bringing me news of Alphinaud. His fate is never far from my thoughts, and not only because he's our emissary. As for this sudden deployment of Imperial forces, I agree Alamigo would be wise to shore up its borders with all haste. Every report we received from the Shinobi indicates massing of troops in western provinces. Seems all but certain the Empire is poised to bring its fist down upon Eorzea. And I would help deflect that blow, but I cannot risk sending reinforcements just yet. We will remain vulnerable to airborne assaults until the wall in the burn is in place. The all-important Alagon energy barrier. I agree, Blade Tribal. It wouldn't be guaranteed, but the fact that they would have a chance says all it really needs to, I think. The energy barrier. Yes. I thought to call it something more auspicious. A name drawn from the Four Lords. Sirius Aegis or something. Just a thought. Anyways, the Ironworks engineer have finished calibrating the generators. They're ready to go to the testing stage. Well, let's go! Yeah, sure. Let's go, Alize. We need to secure one border so we can help secure another border. Yeah, war. Timing of the essence, it would be best if we made directly for the burn. Yugiri, I leave you and Hakuro to bring the War Council to a close. Actually, don't either, Little Lion. I'm sure they've explained it somewhere, why certain people are called and others aren't. The Genbu's Aegis? Yeah, no, that would actually make a lot more sense. Although Heian might not be familiar with the fact that Genbu's right over there and we've actually chatted with the dude. Maybe we should talk to him about that. Yeah, ironically, the, I guess that would be 5.0 stuff. Is it 5.0? Yeah. I haven't done it in a while. So my memories of 5.0 are the vaguest when it comes to 14. Other than the Stormblood stuff where I was sick of the game, obviously, which we've now passed. Now to do the burn again. No! Oh yeah, by the way, I should probably mention we are actually only 2 quests from the Gimlet Dark. Just as a heads up. It's still going to be a minute, because there's a lot of stuff in these cutscenes. But, just as a heads up, anybody who wants to participate in the Gimlet Burn, start thinking about it. Did I just say it, the Gimlet Burn? The Gimlet Dark. The Gimlet Burn would be terrifying!
It seems the engineers have matters well in hand. Should the barrier work as we intend, Doma will be free to reinforce her allies in Alamigo without fear of weakening her own borders. Honored friends, the time has come to put your hard work to the test. Start the generator.
Yes, Blade Tribal. Obviously, she kind of took the name for her own. But yeah, she was a benevolent thing. Oh, absolutely, Tim. No question. Yeah, ironically, the Garleans are arguably more like our real-life armies would function, whereas the Eorzeans have magical aptitude and knowledge and logic.
Node 1 is operational. Nodes 2 to 8 are reporting similar energy levels. The barrier is forming.
Which kind of changes up the power level. It is thus nevertheless impressive how well Garlemald has been doing for so long.
$1,000 yards, 2,000, 3,000. Expansion remains smooth. No fluctuations detected.
Honestly, yeah, Azizla should probably kind of slowly descend.
Target altitude reached. The barrier is holding steady at 5,000 yards. We've done it.
I should probably mention this is a stupid advantage for Doma. This is literally a game changer right here.
Is that an Imperial airship? Of all the rotten timing.
But this is a gift, Mistress Alize. They can test our new wall for us.
Oh no, stupid good. Sorry, Zed Slayer. Let me clarify. Like, in that FF14 4X game, I'm still kind of...
Seems solid enough. Though I was hoping for a fireball.
No. In that FF14 4X game I'm building in my head, I was thinking one of the events Doma could do is setting up this barrier, which would be insane. Just an insane advantage. Now, maintaining it would be a thing, and there would be things that could happen against it, but you get the idea. So, yeah. That ship we just stopped was a friendly. This is a hell of a coincidence. Like, this...
By the gods. It's Alphinaud.
Like, while we happen to be there.
What are you... Let me go! He has my brother!
Lower the barrier!
Yeah, the primary coincidence is us being here, absolutely. It makes perfect sense that Shadowhunter would be coming back with Alphinaud right now, given what just happened. Remember, we saw that thing just a few minutes ago, relatively speaking, so it's probably only been a few hours.
Be at ease, girl. The lad is not dead, merely locked in slumber.
No, not him too.
He was the one. But... well, I'll say something in a second.
We could identify no cause and found no remedy. Thus I sought to return him to Doma, and into the arms of Lord Hien himself, it would seem. It is a day for fated reunions. Would you not agree, adventurer? Or should I address you as the Warrior of Light?
We should recognize him, let's be honest. Even though it's been a minute. So yeah, spoilers, and I've been keeping quiet about this for quite a while. This is Gaius. Yeah, we should recognize his voice. Lord knows we heard it plenty.
Aye. Gaius van Baelsar, the Black Wolf. That was the title I was given. One I have long since relinquished. Stand down. The legatus of the 14th Imperial Legion died in Castrum Meridianum. I am no more than Gaius Baelsar, a man without rank or allegiance.
Impossible. There's no way you could have survived.
Do you remember how it unfolded?
The class I'm currently playing, Loner.
How I was deceived by La Hebrea? How I was convinced that reviving the Ultima weapon would allow me to bring peace to Eorzea? The Ascian used me, as he used so many others, all to further the restoration of his wretched god. Yet even with the might of Alec at my command, you bested me. And as the Praetorium went up in flames, I was content to burn along with it. For a moment at least. A moment of folly. To surrender my life thus would have been to betray all who died for my cause. It was for them that I dragged myself free of the rubble, and swore vengeance on the Ascians. The Black Wolf has shed his pelt, never to return to Garlemald or her legions. I live now only to exact revenge.
Yeah, this is not as egregious as some of the previous examples, but this is very clearly a retcon to give us more of a character. However, unlike several other examples I could name, I think they do some really good stuff with Gaius. And thank you, Roman. Yes, she is.
My principal quarry was to be La Hebrea, whom I gather you have since ushered onto oblivion.
Thanks, Thornton.
but so many more remain. Long as their kind lurked in the shadows, laboring to sow chaos throughout our world, I would see each and every one dragged into the light and put to the sword. Are the Scions not of like mind?
Oh yeah.
In this single respect, perhaps.
If I could add something here super quick, I kind of hinted at this back in ARR, because I talked a bit about the character of Gaius, and some of you might have wondered why I talked so much about the character of someone who barely had screen time and left the narrative in ARR, vanilla, not even in the patch content. We get a little bit more characterization here, and let's be clear, I'm pretty sure this is retconning from the original intent in ARR. It is absolutely retconning from how he was back in 1.0, but that's neither here nor there. The reason I bring all this up, though, is because the Gaius we have, the Gaius that has been retconned, is, in my opinion, someone who absolutely wants and believes in the concept of an empire, a real empire, which, as we've discussed, is not Garlemald. And that's the distinction, and that's what kind of makes him interesting to me. Because that doesn't make him a good character, a good person, I mean. It doesn't make him redeemed or anything. It just makes him a different flavor of villainy from someone like, you know, Varis or Solus.
Then I shall continue the partnership the boy began, and share what intelligence I have acquired. Among the Ascians, the Black-Masked Ilk are subordinate to those who wear red. This you already know. Yet among the red there exists a hierarchy. Those set adrift with the shards clearly stand below those still joined to the source. Nabriales, who once dared to intrude upon the Rising Stones, belonged to the former group, and while he was indeed a dangerous foe, his powers were inconsequential next to the paragons of the Source. The first was La Hebrea, who plagues us no more. There is also the white-robed Elidibus, and the elusive Emmet Selk, about whom little is known.
We have files on La Hebrea and Elidibus, but I believe this Emmet Selk is new to us? As I assume my brother told you, we have evidence to suggest that an Ascian now walks in the body of the Crown Prince. Have you identified this interloper?
Elidibus seems the most likely culprit. As emissary, it is his role to maintain the equilibrium between darkness and light. Your many deeds in Hydaelyn's name have upset the balance, and I believe he seeks to restore it by throwing his considerable power behind the Empire. As a leader of the Ascians, he is one of our primary targets. It was on the trail of this very prey that the boy and I came across the scene of a failed uprising. In the absence of a single Garlean casualty, we inspected the bodies of the rebels, and the lack of any external injury drew my immediate attention.
Another piece of information that needs to be shared with us. The existence of Black Rose.
They had been slain by Black Rose, an alchemical invention of the Imperial Army. When I yet served as legatus, I ordered its production halted, and all stockpiles destroyed. Toxic gas is not a tool of conquest, but of extermination.
And that one sentence right there says all you really need to know about Gaius von Belsar. Toxic gas is not a tool of conquest, but of extermination. He's right.
Toxic gas? This must be the new weapon Maxima warned us about. Something deadly enough to sweep away all resistance in a matter of hours.
And you notice how the Empire just started mustering forces to try and lure the entire Alliance force into one spot.
Gods. You don't think they're planning to use this in Alamigo, do you?
Put your fears to rest. We infiltrated the production facility and destroyed all existing stores of the chemical along with the plant itself. Even should they rebuild the operation, they will not soon manufacture another batch.
Please take a moment and realize how much we owe Gaius and Alphinaud for that infiltration maneuver. Just for those of you who know, think about that. Think about how much we owe that one little incident.
Regardless, I would draw your attention to a directive we discovered in the plant's records.
The document was marked with a recent date and authorized with the signature of one Zeno Galvus.
Exactly, Tim.
A dead man signing the death warrant for thousands. 'Tis bad comedy.
But the tale does not end there. Within that same facility was a chamber filled with devices of elegant design. Cloning technology, we realized. And what should we find in each and every incubator? But a young Emperor Solus.
So there's that explained. Why he's walking around looking substantially younger than his grandson.
All of which prompts the question, were the Ascians responsible for these abominations, or was it the will of the Emperor? I must know which hand guides the Empire. Though I have given up my rank, I am yet a son of Garlemald, and I will fight for the future of my homeland.
I'm going to go ahead and admit I'm a bit of a sucker for this. I know a lot of people, well, I've heard a lot of people who really didn't like bringing Gaius back and praying him in this manner. I like it because I happen to like this particular archetype, so I'm a bit biased on the matter. You know, the General Leo.
It is time I return to the hunting of shadows. We should focus on our common foe. To reopen old quarrels now would serve no purpose.
Oh, and also, Gaius is a better General Leo than General Leo, by virtue of time and exposure.
You saved my brother's life, so I'm willing to let sleeping dogs lie. But in truth, it's not my decision to make.
Interesting they put this on us. It helps us to kind of decide what kind of personality we have. Are we going to let this go, or we'll deal with this later, which changes the tone substantially. Now, I'm willing to let this go because it's me, but it is good they offer that choice.
There was a time when I scorned those who placed their faith in false gods, even as I, in my blinkered conviction, place mine in Ascian promises. Unlike yours, my strength of will and my restraint was found wanting. We shall meet again, warrior of light.
I agree with that, Blade Tribal, but my point is something I've mentioned several times. They give us more and more options to kind of choose the flavor.
So that was the infamous Black Wolf. An unexpected ally, to say the least.
The flavor of character we play in Shadow, and we're effectively in Shadow at this point.
Well, I am content to leave the fine-tuning of the barrier to cleverer minds. Let us bid our friends from the Ironworks farewell, and see what can be done for Alphinaud back in Dorma.
I don't begrudge anyone who has resentment towards or against, and as Tim mentions, he is a dangerous person. So, you know, logic. Alphinaud is safely ensconced. My finest healers examining him. They will find the exact same thing that they always do. Spoke with the physician. It's the exact same thing that the others already had. Oh, yeah. This is the thing I was going to point out earlier, and then I got interrupted by a talking cutscene. Please forgive me. This was something that really caught my mind back then, and catches it again here and now. The fact that distance is effectively nothing. I mean, Urianger was over in Thanalan, and that's a hell of a trip from Alamigo. But Alphinaud was up in Garlemald, which is a way farther distance, and he was still hit by it. And the relevance that, to me, is distance doesn't mean anything, or at least planetary distance doesn't mean anything. There's no outpacing it, whatever the hell was happening. Yeah, exactly. It is effectively rule magic. I'm pretty sure it actually literally is rule magic, as we'll find out in a bit. So, Alphinaud is alive. We probably need him to get him to the Revenant's Toll. To business, then. We now know that Siryu's wall... Gembu's wall would be so much better. Is working as intended. Can we expect reinforcements from El Amigo? Yeah! Let's get all our troops into one spot now that they don't have, well, as much Black Rose. So, we will enlist the East Alderno Trading Company, get some ships, get the Confederacy going. We're going to make all sorts of awesome, cool stuff here. We're going to bring Alphinaud with us. Yugiri, go ahead and talk to the... Go ahead with them to El Amigo. You got it. Exactly what we'd hope for. At least the Alliance leaders. You know, there's some good logistic stuff in there. Sorry for glancing over it. It's just... It's nice that they bothered to acknowledge it. Even in a realm where teleportation magic exists and is relatively common, you can't use that to move an army. It doesn't work that way. Meanwhile, at the Black Rose Chemical Plant...
Our supplies of Black Rose have been ruined, but the new plant is already under construction. We should have the first batch ready in time for the offensive, Your Radiance. See that you do.
Also one of the twins in the background. The other twin over there. I'm just pointing them out because nothing in the game does. They're just there.
Ah, yes, the infamous Black Rose. If I recall correctly, Gaius did not much care for the invention. A ruthless and indiscriminate weapon indeed, this airborne poison. It seems you are capable of making decisions worthy of your bloodline.
With no gift for sorcery, we Garleans must look to Magitech to even the odds. If it spares the needless deaths of our soldiers and serves the cause of this empire, there is no method I would not employ.
Translation. Don't give Garlemald nukes.
How very noble of you. Truly, though, I must commend you for embracing your role as Emperor. You play the part of the determined ruler well. Sometimes even I catch myself believing. A silent agent of death. Now that I think on it, Black Rose may well possess the perfect aspect. Slowly but surely, the deluge of light has worked upon the ether here in the source, and the gas should be most susceptible to its influence. Well, I shall leave you to your own devices. Go forth and bloody the land with your grand and glorious war.
Yeah, if there's any doubt that they had things planned out.
Do what, precisely?
By this point, those are gone. They have officially figured out what they're doing with the story by this point. And probably for a while.
Need you ask? I will be doing what all Ascians do.
I am well aware that your kind exists only to usher in the next calamity. But you seem oblivious to the harm your singular agenda causes to the Empire. You cannot have forgotten the events which followed your mortal demise. Our homeland was plunged into civil war for your failure to name a successor. The edifice you so carefully constructed was but a hair's breadth from collapse.
And?
Are you truly so naive?
And just... You could just feel the...
You thought me oblivious to the consequences of a departure so painstakingly timed?
It was by design?
Yep.
Well, of course it was. Though I will admit the resulting panic exceeded even my wildest expectations. But how can you be surprised? Throwing the world into disarray was the very purpose for which this nation was, as you say, so carefully constructed. Now, if you have no further questions, I must be on my way.
You know the interesting thing about him?
Since we may not meet again in this lifetime, it would be remiss of me not to offer a word or two of gratitude. I really must thank you for this surplus of vessels. I can mold any host into my own image, but having bodies tailor-made for me in this fashion is so much less tiresome.
So, you know how everything's made of ether? Well, that's how you do flesh crafting in a setting where everything's made of ether. You have a mastery over ether.
You dabbled in elegant cloning techniques, yes? It certainly is a compelling, not to mention entertaining, field of research. And of all the options available, you chose the founding father on whom to experiment. You have a twisted streak to you, Varis, like grandsire, like grandson, hey? If events play out as planned, this will become something of a family enterprise. You will be the capstone of this world, I the anchor and shard, and together we will give the lie to this star's fraudulent existence.
Oh, that would be funny if I'm actually correct, because I'm just speaking off of analysis, Scion. With the advantage of hindsight, the pieces are much more obvious when we're going through this content specifically. Bricklaying, as I like to call it. Oh yeah, and do you notice how Solus is he's just not in a hurry? Did you catch that? How do most Ascians walk around? I know, most of them can only do that because of the pseudo-form thing, but I'm just pointing it out because he's strolling. So anyways, we are now one quest from the Gimlet Dark. I told you these would be a minute. Just received from Lise, the Alliance has established a base camp. Well, let's go then. Yep, we do the parlay, and pretty much immediately after the parlay will be the Gimlet Dark. So you still got a while if you want to participate therein. Told you. A lot of cutscenes here. And I'm probably going to stand by the pluses and minus. I already gave the parlay, but we'll see. Wait a minute, who is this insane person? Who's dancing? How do you dance? That's insane. Listen, Blade Tribal. I think the parlay goes quite well, and I mean that sincerely. It probably goes as well as it could have. Especially the second one.
Welcome back, you two. Greetings, Lord Here. Glad you could join us.
Glad to be here. I would have come sooner, while our own defense is not in question, but I am pleased to report that our soldiers are assembling for deployment to Alamigo as we speak.
We're grateful for your support. Thanks to the efforts of our allies, it won't be long before we've established defensive positions on this front as well.
We have some good news too. Alphinaud has come back to us. As for the bad news,
So, Alphinaud won't wake up, Gaius van Baelsar is alive and hunting Ascians, and the Empire is planning to poison us all with toxic gas. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Ordinarily, any one of those things would have left me in shock. But the way things have been lately, it's all starting to seem pretty normal. Getting back to your report, are we sure this Black Rose is the weapon Maxima was talking about?
It fits the description. And it seems we have Alphinaud to thank for sparing us an early demonstration of its effectiveness. I have a feeling this won't be the last time his bravery in the Empire will serve us here in Eorzea. The threat of an unknown weapon has had us all on edge. But now that we know what we're dealing with, we can take steps to defend against it. As for Gaius, I'm not sure what to think. Am I happy he's alive? Not in the slightest. Am I happy he's hunting Ascians? Aye, I'd have to say I am.
Oh, speaking of Garleans you didn't expect to see, we have a tale of our own, as it happens. When we sent envoys to the Imperial Army to request talks, they returned with the message that Varis Zos Galvus would be attending.
The Emperor himself. Well, Varis did sanction the Popularis peace mission. But knowing that an Ascian walks in his son's skin, I do not see how we can trust him or anyone from that nest of vipers.
The Alliance would proceed with negotiations regardless, if only to give ourselves more time to prepare. We do, however, require your cooperation.
Right. Yes. So, as a condition for the talks to go forward, the Empire has requested that a member of the Scions be present. There'll be a representative from each Alliance nation, of course, but I'm afraid we have to ask that you come along too.
God, Lise, you know how much I hate politics. But then, what choice do I have? Alphinaud and the others aren't going to do it. Very well. I shall attend as the Scion's representative.
I'd do it, but, you know, I'm not a character.
In case you're wondering why I didn't ask you, the Empire also requested the presence of Eorzea's champion.
Yep, I got your back. As I always do.
That's settled then. We don't know what Varis means to bring to the table, or why he wants you there, but having you close at hand will make all the difference.
The meeting will take place on the border. Anticipating an early assault, we mean to position the bulk of our forces nearby.
The Alliance leaders should already be on their way. Once you're ready, we can head out and join them.
Yeah, remember, this is a JRPG. She's 16 years old. She's an old vet at this point. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you were there, Rex. Do you remember when we streamed this upcoming parlay during the Shadow stream? And it was just like, oh my god! Because I never caught half of that crap the first time around. There's the twins again. I'm going to keep pointing them out. Also, the visual presentation of the scene is near perfect. All the Alliance leaders sit over there. Varis, alone, sits over here. And says... God, just that by itself says so much.
Esteemed representatives of the Eorzean Alliance, on behalf of the Gallian Empire, I thank you for inviting me here today.
One other detail. They're all at the table. He's not.
As this parley was convened at your request, I invite you to speak first.
Very well, Your Radiance. I, Nanimo Ulnamo, 17th in the line of Ul, should be pleased to oblige you. As recent events in Alamigo and Doma have made plain, the subjugation and exploitation of neighboring nations is not a sustainable policy. Should this day end in war, you may very well defeat us, but you will never extinguish the people's desire for freedom. Though it may not be in our lifetime, there will be another revolution, another war, and the cycle will continue. Doma has entered into a concord with the nations of Eorzea, a partnership wherein we recognize one another as equals. Garlemald could be afforded similar treatment. You need only set aside your ambitions and join us in paving a path towards peace.
Let me just jump in here really quick. If the Garlemald Empire was a real empire, as opposed to being the chaos engine that it is, this is actually not a bad deal. In fact, this is a deal I would take without hesitation, even if I eventually planned to conquer the rest of these nations. This is a win-win in almost every way.
You will not win me over with sophistry, Your Grace.
In political terms, that's actually a hell of an insult.
As you know only too well, this alliance lacks the strength to keep the peace within its own borders. Even now, your struggles with the Beastmen continue unabated. Divided, you sow this fertile soil with the seeds of your differences and reap naught but discord and chaos for your trouble. Eorzea must be united under one leader, one purpose. I would offer you both and bring an end to your strife.
One of the negatives that I have, and I already wrote it down, is that the leaders, and I'm just going to say this now, because the leaders of the Alliance here make some really stupid arguments. And the problem is this feels badly written. It feels like this is a straw man situation. Varis is allowed to make all his good points because all of them are suddenly stupid. Just for this one. It's weird.
With all due respect, Your Radiance, the only thing that you offered the people of Alamigo was fear and hopelessness.
The citizens of Doma can also attest to the meager arms of Imperial rule. There is no purpose to be found in a life of oppression, each day more uncertain than the last.
Our people are willing to die for their freedom. A great many already have, and countless more will, if we don't put an end to this madness here and now.
Okay, I'm going to say something really strange. You ready for this? Here it comes. I think Lise is one of the smartest people in this specific scene, other than Varis himself. Because her argument, though simple, is straightforward and earnestly designed. She's trying to prevent deaths. Needless deaths, pointless deaths, endless deaths. The rest of them moralize.
We brought order and stability to your lives. This madness and bloodshed is of your own making. You broke the peace, not Garlemald.
Peace. Order. You kill our peoples, despoil our lands, take everything that is ours. And what? You expect us to lick the boot that grinds our faces into the dirt?
I expect you to weigh the costs. To recognize that countless lives have been lost on both sides in pursuit of a greater good, and to not squander all we have achieved in a fit of petulance.
And yeah, who said this? Zedslayer, she said, Liz. You don't try to moralize, you don't try to go with an emotional argument to someone who is at his core an immense pragmatist. And that is Varis more than anything else. He is a pragmatic person. Probably a bit too much, if we're being honest.
Your Radiance. I fear I can personally attest to the dangers of pursuing one's vision with such righteous fervor. For 1,000 years, the Holy See of Ishgard waged war with dragons. 1,000 years of sacrifice, of sorrow and hate, in which we bathed in the blood of friend and foe alike. Had it gone on any longer, we may well have drowned. Yet we have chosen to raise ourselves out of this bloody spiral, and have since made peace with our former enemy.
Hang on, I just realized what's going on here. Of the people in this room, how many of them are heads of state? Really actually have the experience, mentality, wisdom, and perception to be a head of state? Yeah, you see the problem. I can't believe that's never really clicked with me before, because I've even mentioned this in this very lore run, pseudo lore run. Most of these alliance leaders really don't know how to be a head of state, for various reasons, good and bad. And Varis has spent years building up to being and actually functionally running the military side of the Empire. Never mind then taking over and claiming the throne.
So I understand. No doubt the dragons were more receptive to your overtures in the wake of their leader's demise.
And I bring this up because someone mentioned this in chat. Fife mentioned this. Varis just has a response ready to go for everything because that's what a head of state does. That's not a joke. When you're going to this kind of a meeting, what tends to happen is you sit there, usually with some advisors, and you say, okay, let's go through the things they're probably going to bring up. And you get some prepared responses, or prepared beginnings of responses ready to go, right? That is actually what you're supposed to do for this kind of thing. And it very much feels like Varis did that, and nobody else did.
You speak of peace, yet use war to achieve it. Your father would not have bothered to obscure his intent with honeyed words. He understood that strength is all that matters in the end. Without his clarity of vision, I can but wonder what will become of Ishgard and her people. There was a time when Garlemald too lacked a leader of conviction. Weak and unable to wield magic, we were at the mercy of the strong from whom we sought refuge in the bitter cold of the north. Were it not for the discovery of ceruleum and the subsequent development of magitech, we might never have gained the power to take back that which was rightfully ours.
You speak as if your people were the first to have been driven from their homes. Limsa Lominsa was built by wayward souls in search of a place to call their own.
You notice he baits them and they take the bait? God, you people suck.
On the shores of Vilbrand we found it. And from those humble beginnings did we grow and flourish. And all without robbing our neighbors of their liberty.
I think the kobolds and the Sahagan might want to have a word about that.
So saith the pirate. Am I to believe that you simply asked the kobolds to yield up their lands and that they were happy to oblige you? That you did not drive them out like rats in the hold of one of the many ships seized by your privateers? I will concede that after centuries of exile, reclamation may be mistaken for invasion. Nevertheless, it is not. And those who till stolen soil have no right to object when cast out in turn.
Your uncompromising nature rivals that of the Ixal. They too lament circumstances which they themselves perpetuate. Were they but to embrace peace, we would welcome them with open arms. Indeed, some few have done just that, and now receive of the 12's Wood's bounty. Would that your people might learn from their example.
That's intended to be a burn. And that's my reaction to that.
You dare compare us to the Birdmen? You who thought to invoke the 12 and threaten all of creation?
I came here in the hope of finding some speck of common ground, but I see now these discussions will accomplish nothing.
Okay, so I've already given this the negative, and all I'm doing really is codifying it. I stand by it. But here's the thing. This is actually really, really dangerous. This is one of the only chances. I know that the whole point of the parlay is just to play for time, but this is one of the only chances they have to talk to the Emperor of Garlemald and figure out something, anything, to try and make this whole situation better. And they're throwing it away. Just throwing it out the window. And something about that irritates me. Not from a moral perspective, not from a right perspective, but as a statesman, I'm looking at this like, what are you people doing? Yeah, we're quite literally wasting his time.
You may believe I am not wont to choose the sword over the olive branch. 'Tis but a pity men are loath to accept one without first being shown the other.
Wait! I beg you. This meeting was supposed to be a chance to find a way forward together, not to bemoan the missteps which brought us here. Please. If you truly consider violence a last resort, there must be a way we can come to an agreement.
Usually someone speaking out of turn like that is a very bad thing at these kind of meetings.
As Mistress Alisaie says, we did not come here to bicker over the past, but to discuss how we might strive towards a brighter future.
Yet in this case, she actually says not just the right thing, but she says it the right way. Credit to the actress, as usual. There's an earnestness there. Hold up, wait, please. Let's actually make a real attempt here.
Emperor Varis, may I suggest a short recess, that all present might compose themselves prior to beginning anew?
And there's one of our only actual statecraft people on our side of the table, who naturally picks up what Alisaie puts down and says, yeah, why don't we do a do-over?
Very well. I pray this intermission will suffice to move these talks in a more constructive direction.
I mean, he's right! I hate myself for agreeing with this genocidal... Well, he's not mad. Genocidal, asshole. But he's right! What are you people doing? Whap! 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 God damn it! Even Aymeric was schooled here, which is part of why it's bad writing, because we know Aymeric actually does have a brain for these kind of things. There's actually a reason for him to accept this request, and we'll cover it in the next parlay. I do wonder what Emperor Varis' decision to attend these negotiations. It's plain he has no intention to hearken to our entreaties, but what's his goal? Good question. Maybe you should have frickin' thought of that when you were discussing... God damn it. It's true that Limsa laments his beginnings were not wholly on our... Beginnings! Beginnings! How long ago did you tell us, to our faces, I will kill every Sahagin if it helps my people? Jesus Christ, woman. Varis holds fast to his ideals, just as I knew he would. He will not be swayed from this path. Why do I get the feeling the Emperor's hiding something? Because he is! For years we have warred with the Empire with no end in sight. A parlay such as this represents unique opportunity, and I would not squander it with bitter words. Thank you, Nanamo. If literally nothing else, this should be a fact-finding mission. If literally nothing else. For a moment I feared our talks would descend into violence there and then. And, let's be honest, Varis could probably kill everyone in this room except for us. Aymeric and Hien and Roban are not exactly, weaklings. But Varis is a beast. It's a shame we never really get to see that, or haven't gotten to see that up to this point, I should say. Alize speaks of her dislike for politics, but her honest plea may well have prevented an early battle. Uh-huh. Whatever rebuttal I had in mind was lost the moment he mentioned my father. The man is skilled at keeping his opponents off balance. Yeah, it's called politics. Ooh, this is not my forte. After his Radiance's performance, it was all I could do not to swear at him. I don't know how I ended up praying the mediator. I asked the same when Alphinaud would have done, tried my best to do the same, and by some miracle it worked. But there's no common ground to be found with that man. Nor do I think he looked for any, so the question is, why did he come here? Because it wasn't to make peace. Whatever it is, I can't make it out, not yet. We do have a little time before the parlay. Why not try consulting the leaders? I just did that. I will say one thing for Varis, he's versed in Eorzean history. Yeah, he did his goddamn homework. Have you never met with another head of state that you weren't personally friends with? Sorry, I'm getting upset about this, I apologize. It's just... It irritates me because real-life leaders are just this stupid so many times historically, All should know their enemies. There's much more we don't know of the Empire. Then we need to learn more about the Empire. You would have me ask the Emperor himself. Why not? If we could skirt the storm of his displeasure, we may yet come to answers, even if it means sailing close to the wind. Yeah, no, you're right. They probably literally have had no statecraft experience. They don't reach out to the Beastmen, because why would they? They're just beast tribes. And they're literally personal friends with each other and have been for years at this point. Yeah, I'm just going to remind everyone of something. Where is 90% of our intel about Garlemald coming from? Does anyone remember? I'm just going to answer you. The Shinobi, which is a recent addition thanks to the Dolmens over there. Then about 5% is about Thancred, and then the other 5% is the Garleans who have turncoated. I've been kind of trying to quietly point it out, but so many times it's been quietly like, yeah, our Shinobi tell us such and such, and our Shinobi tell us this and that. They have Shinobi distributed throughout, and that's like the only intel we have coming in, and that's recent that we have had an access to that. Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, let's really make this point. Where's Garlemald on the mess? Oh yeah, it's this giant cloud of who frickin' knows. And Titan for some reason. Or maybe that's Godzilla. I don't know. Anyways. Okay, we're done. I'm cool. It's you idiots. Oh my god. But no, moving on. I do actually think this is bad writing. I do think there are elements of this that honestly should have been constructed better. The good news is the next parlay is going to be a better cutscene. Which, honestly, it feels like they kind of wrote the second parlay, and then they were like, wait, we can't just jump into that. So they wrote this parlay, and it feels like they just threw the first scene a little bit together compared to the second scene. You know what I mean? Because that happens. When you're like, all right, here's our big scene. Wait. Prelude scene. Just throw something in there. But for Alize's timely interjection, we might have come to blows at the negotiating table. Not that Varis left us many options. Is unconditional surrender all he will accept, do you think? No. That's the messed up part. Ere he arrived, I've said yes, but having heard him speak, I cannot help think he came with some other end in mind. Exactly, he's building up to something, I know it! Have you anything to say? Invite him to explain himself. Cut straight to the heart of the matter. Granted, my character doesn't know anything about statescraft, but god damn it. Actually, I'd like to think we've learned a little bit, even in character. We've been hanging around heads of state for however long it's been at this point, since ARR. This parlay was never like to bring peace, but I had hoped to learn something of his relationship with the Ascians. as had we all, yet if he's in league with them, he's not like to volunteer the fact, and if he's not, how much weaker would his position seem for their presence? If we're to broach that particular subject, we need to be subtle. Would that I knew more of the man. If you would indulge me, you received an imperial education, did you not? Is it true the Emperor's will is considered absolute? You know, that's true. That is true. There is no higher authority in all of Garlemald, nor anyone else in the heavens come to that. Veneration of gods is forbidden. The only worship permitted is that of his right. It's his own person. That's a great idea, Omega Legion. Wait. I share your disdain for their hypocrisy. Even as they degenerate the idea of faith, they revere their leader with fervor that others reserve for the divine. 'Tis a flaw common to much of the doctrine they fed us, logical on the surface, but contradictory on examination. I wonder if discussion of the various discrepancies might prompt him to reveal something. I like the... Hang on. I have this great idea. Okay, so we'll go up to the table and we'll be like... And then the war will be over. We'll be cool. Oh, I can't really get over there. I can't get through this out of the room. But you can kind of see Varis' seat, the high-backed over there, and how it's a bit different from everyone else's. Just, I love the visual layout of this place. I really do. But anyways. Yes, we are secretly Big Mac. Always have been. Round 2.
Now then, who would have the floor?
I love how he's just like, alright, now what?
Before we resume, I wish to offer you an apology. After you graciously accepted our invitation to discuss an armistice, we have done naught but rebuke you at every opportunity. I believe I speak for all of us when I say we are deeply sorry for our discourtesy.
Notice how Nanamo just takes the lead of the conversation both times, because of course she freaking does.
I'll admit your familiarity with our affair surprised me, and served to remind me how little I know of yours.
I think all here can understand the desire to reclaim one's homeland. But why expand further? That is my question.
If I may, the answer can be found in the Imperial doctrine they took great pains to impart to my people. Recognizing the threat icons posed to the world, Solus Zos Galvus decreed that they were to be eradicated. To this end, he began a campaign to unite all lands under the Garlean banner. Or so we were taught. Yet the Emperor only reached the burn, the Baron said to have been laid waste by icons, after conquering all the lands that lay between. What is more, I am quite certain the practice of summoning was not nearly so widespread in the days before the Empire's founding.
When you put it like that, it all starts to sound like an excuse, doesn't it? But to distract from what? Why are you really waging this war?
You'll notice that they actually did their homework and practiced and prepared something for the second speech, whereas they prepared nothing for the first one. See the difference? Moths.
Finally, you ask the right question. I can but hope you heed mine answer and at last accept the righteousness of our cause.
Yeah, so... I've heard some people say the only reason Varis came here was to recruit us, personally. As weird as this may sound, I like to think he came here to recruit as many as he could. I think he actually wanted willing converts. Not for Garlemald, but for the actual goal.
My goal is this. To return the world to the way it once was. The way it was always meant to be. In doing so, mankind will be made whole once more. No longer will we suffer from the dissension born of our differences. There will be but one race, a perfect race, as we were when time began.
What in Rolga's name are you talking about?
Sounds mad, doesn't it?
I am talking about the origins of this star, of the source and its 13 reflections. At the instant of the great sundering, 'twas not only the world that was shattered, but mankind itself. Thus were we divided into myriad races, each with its own unique imperfections. That is why man looks upon his neighbor and feels fear and hatred, why he wages war, why he kills his brother. You all in your own way have proven as much today. The peace you seek is but a fleeting solution to a fundamental problem. One which calls for more drastic measures.
You know, this is clearly Varis, I'm sorry.
To bring about everlasting peace, our worlds must be rejoined.
Yeah, he wants the same thing the Ascians want, but for a different reason.
That is the goal the Empire would see realized. The glorious future unto which we shall one day shepherd mankind.
A rejoining of worlds.
It already happened a few
I have heard
times.
this tale of the Source and its reflections before.
Are these not the self-same desires as the Ascians?
Emperor Varis, do not trust in their words. They will lead you to your doom. My father thought to use them, but in the end he succumbed to their temptations. He embraced summoning like so many other pawns before him. Do not tell us you mean to do the same.
I hate to disagree with you, Amaric, but Thornton bodied the Ascians. He just went up against us thereafter.
To be a pawn, free from the burden of choice, would be a blessing. But I forswore that privilege the day I learned that the Gallian Empire was built by the hand of an Ascian.
Now, we know this, but this is a hell of a thing to tell other heads of state.
What?
Yes. My grandsire, the former emperor, is of their number. And who better to build an empire capable of bringing about the calamitous change we desire? Would you condemn me for this alliance? For bowing to the will of these shadowy masters, when the prize is true and lasting peace?
Pragmatist. I don't actually like either of those dialogue options, if I'm being completely blunt. Neither of those things are what's going through my head right now, and neither are going to mean anything to him. But I will challenge him on his assertion. Peace.
I come not to conquer, but to liberate. To free man from the prison of divergence.
Imagine a world united. One perfect race beneath a single standard.
Nice camera work.
An army before whose might these servants of darkness and light would fly as leaves in a storm, never again to meddle in man's affairs.
And you caught that, right? I want to do what the Ascians want to do, so we're strong enough to tell the Ascians to piss off.
We would be the masters of our own fate.
Vain reference.
I bid you join me, not as subjects of Garlemald, but of a new nation. And together we shall win freedom for ourselves and generations yet unborn.
What's really messed up here is there's such an... I mean, this is villainous. Let's get that out of there. Let's get that out of the way. But his offer is genuine, which is just weird. This is the Emperor of Garlemald saying, join me in this task to rejoin humanity, or mankind as he calls it, whatever species they'd actually be. And then, and then kick the Ascians out of our world. And it's so funny because if you've been paying attention, and I hope you have, for the last 2 patches in a row, we've been all circling around the idea of being anti-Ascian. Why do we go along with Gaius? Because he's anti-Ascian. Why are we going along with several of the people of the Popularis? Because they're anti-Ascian. And Varis is anti-Ascian.
You want to trigger another half-dozen calamities? You can't be serious!
Have you forgotten how many died? There will be no one left.
As I say, 3 of the people present were there at Curtino Flats.
Do you truly imagine we would aid you in your bloodletting?
And they're all freaking out because they don't know what we know.
It is unthinkable. Unconscionable.
And yeah, I don't blame them for this. It's just, this is weirdly well constructed. Wait, did Nanamo stand?
And what is the alternative? To be as cattle waiting for slaughter? I would have us work together, that we might take fate into our own hands.
And the thing is, he's absolutely right, kind of. Yeah, like, did you catch that? Because he's kind of right. He's also wrong. He's extremely wrong. He doesn't know that either. But it is just fascinating to think about that.
Into your hands, perhaps. But what of the other worlds, your radiance? With every calamity, you obliterate a star and every soul that dwells on it.
And of course, Alize has met the Warriors of Darkness. The only other person present who has done so is us. So she's the natural person to bring this point up. Because she, secondhand, is aware of what happened with the first.
To the Ascians, we are all but tiny, momentary specks within an indifferent universe. We cannot hope to oppose them until we have been made whole once more.
Did you catch that he has no counter-argument for the mass genocide? The only argument he has is the only argument he's ever had. Varis, this is so... Varis knows how bad things are. Actually, he doesn't. He doesn't know how bad things are. But he thinks he knows how bad things are. And so he is grasping for any solution. That's why he keeps nailing that point over and over. I've said this before. Varis has probably been mentally broken. Not just by being in Garlemald and all the crap he's gone through, but by this knowledge, this information. He has been trying to come up with a solution, any solution, to this no-win scenario that he and everyone it is. So to him, all right, we're going to go along with the evil plan and speed up the genocide of worlds in order to have the ability to deal with something about this. Because what else is there to do? Yeah, no, I agree. Varis just barely isn't a nihilist. Just barely. Because he still thinks victory is possible. He still thinks there is a way to move forward and achieve their goals. Even though he knows it's terrible. And yeah, he is also objectively wrong. Although, again, he doesn't know that. Frankly, in character, we don't know that yet either. There are certain aspects of the nuance of the situation that have not been revealed yet. Hell, I'm pretty sure there's stuff I don't know about yet, to be perfectly blunt. So naturally, his argument makes so much sense. This is the solution, the only solution.
Are these truly the words of Garlemald's ruler?
We can die and be pathetic and be the puppets we are, or we can try to sever our strings. And that's it, from his perspective.
The flaws and foibles which you so abhor are what make us who we are. Every nation, even yours, Emperor Varis, is made whole through the combination of these imperfections, the strengths of one compensating for the weaknesses of another. While it is true that man succumbs all too often to anger and avarice, he may yet overcome his baser instincts through the forming of bonds with others, fostering community and cooperation. That the protector of an empire should not only reject these fundamental truths, but seek to change them at so dear a cost to life is indefensible.
I'm going to pause for just a moment. Believe it or not, Nanamo has a point here. Even ignoring the future and all the stuff we haven't revealed yet, the fact of the matter is, if Varis and Garlemald decided to willingly join with the Alliance, and they started making a true anti-Ascian alliance, and really pooled their resources, and really pooled their knowledge to try and bring down the Ascians, that's something that they might have actually been able to do. But
such a man is not fit to govern.
Varis is too far gone.
And you, warrior of light, would you refuse me as well?
And note, he specifically reaches out to us. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't he? We would be one of the best weapons Varis would ever have against the Ascians. Quite frankly, we are one of the best weapons against the Ascians. It's just, we're not his weapon. We can defeat the Ascians as we are. And because that's the frickin' truth. Because we've done it. The end.
It would seem the Alliance is of one mind on this matter.
The great irony is I think my Warrior of Light, naturally, I'm not a character, would try to reach out to Varis at this point. Join us. And we will bring down the Ascians together. I'm dead serious. He probably wouldn't go for it. I don't think he would. I think he's too far gone and too lost to himself. But I would at least make the effort. But yeah, I would at least try.
You Eorzeans never cease to disappoint me. Though I suppose I have only myself to blame for expecting more from savages. This discussion is at an end. I bid you make ready for our next meeting. It will not be at the negotiating table.
I know, right, Omega Legion? It is still fascinating that he made the effort, though. And that's why that is a positive. So anyways, Gimlet Dark. I told you we'd be a minute. We at the battlefield? Yeah, we're here. I'm glad we arrived in time for the battle. Though our vanguard may be small, we are but a chosen elite, the finest warriors of the Far East. And I have not seen Iron Sky. Sorry, Trihexia. We suspected the Ascians meddled in the shadows of the Empire, but the truth is beyond my wildest imagining. At least now we know the face of our enemy, and need not hesitate to strike at its heart. His grand plan to bring about more calamities? This is insanity! This is politics. The Empire exists to wage war, and war it shall have. But its vast armies pour in like the tides themselves. This could be the greatest military threat... No, this is the greatest military threat Eorze has ever faced. Let's be clear about that. Hey, Lucia. Didn't even see you over here. Temple Knights have deployed in full strength. Eorze's future is Ishgard's future, and our fates ride on the outcome of the upcoming conflict. The Ascians are terrible beings indeed that they would found an entire nation to further their dark designs. It would seem the Empire's history is as sinister as Ishgard's own. Yeah, I'm going to be rolling for the lottery for people who want to be there for the Gimlet Dark in just a moment. I guess I'll roll it now. There you go. Number rolled. My first engagement as Flame General, and it's a full-scale war with the Empire! I feel a measure of nervousness, but I'll make Father proud. Oh, you got this, Pippin. Now that we have learned the Emperor's true purpose, war has become an inevitability. It's times like these I curse my own uselessness in battle. Nah, Nanamo, you are probably the only true statesman we have on our side of the table, so you did good. Big hugs. Big hugs for Nanamo. Makes a twisted kind of sense. The Empire was built by the Chaosbringers themselves. The revelation yet rattles me, but now we know our enemies are one and the same. We have a target upon which to unleash the full force of this battle station. I refuse the Emperor's words with all my being. What justice is there in an ideal that demands the sacrifice of so many? No comment. Send me to the front lines, if you please. We'll give the Imperials a taste of the Maelstrom's cannons. Not to mention my axe. I've come back to find Doma's advance party ready and waiting, so as worrying as our little chat was, it did buy time for our allies to arrive. Listen, all I'm saying, Rax, is that Nanamo is the best statescraft we have on our side of the table, and I stand by that. Now, part of that is influenced by the fact that she's grown into that throughout the game. She wasn't actually a good stateswoman at the beginning of the game, if you're paying attention, but she has certainly grown into it. Amaric's still legit. I'll give Amaric that. Not sure about Merlwyb. I'd have to think about that. Anyway, so, number... Alright, so we've got... Let me see here. So Rax guessed 1 off. So he's probably in. Looks like Giga Pudding is going to be our next. And Linley, I think, will be our 3rd. Yeah, looks like that's right. 78 was the number. Rax isn't even on. Yeah, Lolorito did help her, ironically. But of course he would. It is in his best interest to do so. Where's Linley? There you are. And then Giga. I expect fashionable Giga. Oh yeah, the Gimlet Dark is probably going to get a positive or 2. I'll bring whatever. I'm totally ambivalent at this point. We're past the point where a samurai or a monk is narratively or thematically appropriate. I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh, Rex. The thought of you jumping out of bed.
What I was expecting from our meeting with the Emperor, but it wasn't that. Still, at least we know now what he's really after.
Reaper, I like it. Let's do it. I'll go Reaper, if that's okay with y'all.
Aye, a future built on a mountain of bodies. I too want the Ascians dead, but not at any cost.
The last of the reinforcements from Doma arrived not long ago. I pray it will be enough. Given the Emperor's stated goal, this is a battle we can ill afford to lose.
If the Gallians come in force, we may not have much say in the matter, even with our combined strength.
We knew from the first that the odds would be against us. But if there is even the slightest chance of victory, we must do everything in our power to seize it.
We must seize it, full stop.
Here!
So I'm going to go and get out my opinion here. I mentioned this briefly yesterday. Now knowing, at this point, all the stakes and the scope of the threat we're facing, it is my opinion that the Alliance would have lost this battle if we were not here. And I know, some people dislike the fact that I push up our importance in lore, in power, a bit too much, but let's be clear, I stand by that statement firmly. We are a division by ourselves.
The 2 of you are to join an irregular unit and support the main host. I won't bother asking if you're minded to fight.
After coming this far, how could I not? And for once, there's no one around to countermand me. Not that they would. Not even my brother. But we all know who really make the difference. Ready to frighten some Garleans?
I mean, you know, they even call it out. No, yeah, exactly, Omega Legion.
Wouldn't want to be on their side.
We can't fight the entire enemy force by ourselves, but we are going to help sway this battle. And Little Ion is absolutely right. We're probably a huge morale boost for our side, and a huge morale detriment for the Garleans. They know the Icon Slayer.
Might I ask you to accompany the Dorman contingent? They are strangers here, and your presence would do much to raise their spirits.
And they just finished a forced march, so they need the help the most.
We would be honored.
When our people stride out with you in their midst, I dare say the Eorzeans will feel an ilm taller themselves. High spirits have a way of spreading.
What I wouldn't give to join you. But my duties as field commander will not allow it. I'll leave the front lines in your capable hands. Comrades, ready your arms. The hour of battle has come. May the crystal guide us to victory!
You know what, you're right. That's actually a very good example of the same concept of Mega Legion. We couldn't win the Siege of Orgrimmar by ourselves, but we could help win it with the advantage and aid of an entire army, 2 at our backs.
Since the others couldn't be here, we'll have to fight twice as hard. If Alphinaud wakes to find the Imperials have won, I shall never hear the end of it. It's strange. I thought I would be terrified when the fighting started. I should be terrified. But with you at our side, I can't help feeling everything is going to be all right.
Who's going to be the trust for this dungeon?
So please, don't you dare leave me alone.
I got you, kiddo.
No matter what happens, we have to survive together.
I mention it because, so for those of you not aware, if I'm not mistaken, like Aymeric and Alisaie, and I know Hien are like in the upcoming battle. Not in our party, that would just, our path roams through them, right? So it's just like, who's the trust for this one? So I'm going to go ahead and codify several positives from the scenes we just saw. The last time we did this, codify the negative from the scenes we just saw. And scroll down to the gameplay for no particular reason. That's true, Rex. I don't know, interesting thought. Okay, so, who's bringing what? What do we got here? We've got a Dancer, Giga's healing, Rax is tanking. Perfect. In that case, I'll go ahead and bring Reaper or Samurai. I kind of want to bring Reaper just to keep the trend going, if that's okay. And plus it's Reaper. I don't have Shroud. You get Shroud at 80, so that won't be present for this. Yeah, Samurai is nice and awesome, but you know... So let's see what we got here. Alright. Make sure we're synced. Nope, wrong thing. Going at level 90! Stomp, stomp, stomp! Oh god! They're killing us! They're killing us all! First time I did this dungeon, I was actually kind of blown away by it. Probably one of the first dungeons that really caught me in this game. Now, this is going to sound like an insult, but I swear I don't mean it like it. This is one of the first dungeons that felt at the WoW level of quality for dungeons for me. Because let's be honest, WoW dungeons, especially from Kata onwards, tend to be pretty damn legit. It's one of the best aspects of the game. And yeah, we're actually going to be going through trench warfare here. It is very busy. There's a lot going on. There's actual airships in the distance. There's people being paratrooped in, even as we're talking here. Some of the airships, plural, by the way, are actually still causing issues out there. I'm going to go in AoE and see how we do. Just for fun. Just for fun. Come on. Target someone. Ah! There we go. God damn it, they're dying before I can kill them. Die, damn you. And yeah, there's artillery strikes just happening periodically as just environmental damage, which is awesome. Love the outfit, Giga Pudding. There's Hien, by the way, and Yugity. Oh god, that would be awful, Omega Legion. Also, in my opinion, this is the best rendition of this theme. The Stormblood theme. I know it sounds familiar because I say that often. And yeah, one of the things this game... So, one of the common complaints I hear, and I've heard in this very run, is that the dungeons later on get a little bit too linear. I don't agree with that complaint completely, but this is how you do a linear dungeon properly. We are literally pushing through the dungeons... Sorry, through the trenches. Sorry, I just read what Giga just said. And being basically directed to where we should be. Exactly to the spots where we are most needed on the battlefield. So it actually makes a degree of sense that the dungeon's linear in this particular case, in this particular iteration. Let's get our god up. It's just... I only complain about it right there. But that's immediately erased by being able to do something. Look at this. Gonna go for it. Everyone else can move. Must DPS. Black mage things. Not the first time we've seen this mechanic, but I think this is more like the third. And I know this is the first time in the MSQ we've seen that mechanic. Pretty sure they used that in Ivalice. I mean, it varies in quality. Obviously, Omega Legion, I'm not trying to say every WoW dungeon is amazing. Like, BRD, for God's sakes, hello. But, I mean, when I think of WoW dungeons, I think of some of the true greats, and that's probably my fault. It'll be interesting to see how it reviews in the end. I was actually about to say that, Scion, because yeah, we've got the generic mid-boss music again. Yeah. That's actually weird. Same direction 3 times in a row. I've actually done this dungeon a few times because it shows up not often, but semi-periodically. Whoop. There we go. That was a good lineup. Oh god, yeah, there's one Zensler. I think I know the one you're talking about. Where it's actually legitimately physically difficult to keep ahead of it because it goes so fast. It's the damn robot, right? I think it's the robot. Here. Go. I love playing Reaper. Sorry. I can't even review Reaper yet. That. For a while. That's the one, Zed. Yep. I actually agree with Tim. I think FF14 dungeons literally work better as the narrow corridor. It allows them to focus much more on the specific encounter design, environmental stuff, like we're seeing in this one, visual storytelling, which they do a lot of from this point onwards, and, of course, the big thing, the bosses. They've got the third eye, which I forget what it actually does, Dream Whisperer. They tend to be tall. I'm not sure what else. I'm looking forward to hearing the Endwalker music, I'll tell you what, Sion. I haven't actually heard any of it other than stuff that I might have heard and don't aware of it. Like whatever's in the thing, the place with the stuff. Words. The thing that sees how well your game is going to run on your computer. Whatever that is. I can't think of the damn term. Whoops. Sorry. The benchmark, thank you. I've heard whatever was in the benchmark, which is mostly the FF4 music, I do believe. More of the battle. I'm just going to show this off for a second while they go off. We can see there's the Marauders from Limsa Lominsa. We've got the Magitech, which is fighting Spearmen from Ishgard. Over here we've got Casters from, I'm not sure where, fighting those gorilla mobs. And notice as we progress, the events happen. So what I'm trying to say is, each of those little mini-fights that are going off in the background that are purely cosmetic, they're set to loop until we physically cross a certain point in the terrain, at which point they stop looping and they conclude, and you know, one side or the other wins. It's really cool, and it's why this place is getting a +2 story, for those curious. Something I've actually already given, I just wanted to reiterate why it gets that. God, I love playing this class. It's been too long since I've been able to play a Reaper die in a fire. Everything dies. But yes, there's Lys, there's Pippin. There's, of course, the frontline commander for them. And I think that's it for this particular group. More Imperial troops literally pile it in. And you remember this guy? This is my level. Should be. I can't check right now, but I'm pretty damn sure I went and set the option. Anyways, you remember this from FF6? Tunnel armor. Which does that. And then, hang on, where is it? There it is. And then that. Relatively minor. Pay attention check, but still fun. Oh yeah, I gotta steal the air lancet while I'm here. It's okay, I can beat this with just an item or two. What am I doing? This one. Rotation. That's actually it for mechanics. Could be wrong. I'll find out in a second. Dig any second now. Sure. Notice where he aims at. Because he's a dick. Congrats, Death Eagle. For real. Mockery here. Oh my god, why does this keep falling off? And dead. You cannot hold any more poetics. Duh. don't even know how many months I've been capped on Poetics at this point, and I bought a full suit for my Blue Mage in preparation for this run. So here's Amaric and Kane Senna. Interesting combo. Trying to zoom the camera out as much as I can so you can kind of see the background. There's a lot going on in the background of this one.
Out of my way!
You can start to see some of the artillery cannons over there too, as part of the emplacements that have been hastily set up. Agreed, said Slayer. I even get why they would do that, I just disagree with it. I just realized we have two kings of AoE here, Dancer and Reaper. Uh-oh. Colossus! It's okay, we got this. Did not hit Rax with that. Yep. Just for you, Rax, I decided not to get you hit. Nobody's paid me to kill you lately, after all. As a fresh reminder, if anybody wants to pay me to get Rax killed, I take PayPal. Don't actually do that. Don't actually do that. No, USN Corp. No. Yeah, reasonably good sound design here, too. It's not the best. I don't want to overpraise. But there is at least actual sound design going on here. Tell you what, I will give you a hug. Where you at? Where you at? You know what's funny is if they made the tombstone cap 4,000, that probably would be a lot better overall for the aforementioned. And Hadanya, typically you referred to as the inability to feel joy. Oops, that was a complete misclick. My bad. Sorry, Gigapudding. That's actually on me. Sorry you have to keep my stupid self up for that. Yeah, the searchlights definitely have that kind of... With the people paratrooping, definitely a bit of a World War II vibe there. Probably on purpose, if we're being honest. Hey, look, the NPCs are actually worth a damn in the fights, too. Check that out. Man, I remember the Roman World War II. It was called the, I actually can't think of the name of it. Oh my god, I actually can't think of the name of it.
This day you die!
No, not the Crusades. Way before that. This is actually irritating. I gotta look this up now. Hang on. Punic, thank you. There you go. The Second Punic War. That was World War II. Anyway, so, hey, it's the twins I've been pointing out this whole time. Part of the reason I've been pointing out the twins this whole time is because I know several people who are like, who are these people? And while I agree that they don't really do much to establish them, at least they bothered to have them in the background for the last several patches. I don't even know these people's names. Or care. So yeah, fun fact, I've wiped on this fight quite a bit because it's actually pretty rough. But I think we got this. Let's do it. So we only actually fight one at a time initially. We'll see where that goes. And when I say we only fight one at a time, what I mean is one of them is untargetable and can still do damage to us, because screw you. Here. There. Wasn't sure if that was an AoE. Making sure. Drag this over here. Oh, that's her name. Ania Quo Soranus is her name. Say the other one's name in just a second when they swap. Well, I guess it's their Julia Quo Soranus. Whoops, wrong button. Wrong button, wrong button. It's okay. Recovered. I was mentally playing Samurai for a second. Not bad. Kid is like, would you stop? I forget if this is the big attack. Yep, nope, this is the big attack. Yep, okay, over here. And they literally hand off, like, I mean, that wouldn't surprise me. Whoop. Weird. I've mentioned before how weird it is to think about the final boss fights of each expansion. This is the final boss fight of... okay. Of Stormblood, is these two random Emperor's bodyguards. Coke. He wrote Coke, Death Eagle, and then it got to be changed at the last minute because of fears of copyright. So, that's the answer to your question. The last boss of Heavensward was someone I'm not going to name out loud. The last boss of ARR was that stupid dragon I can never think of the name of. Farewell, savages. But, yeah, the AoE one's probably better. So this is a straight-up DPS race. I've failed this DPS race before in bugs. I don't think we're going to have that problem. It's just a kill you. It's your typical kill you wipe thing. We have served our purpose. Come, let's withdraw for now. And they're out. As always, good job, everyone. Yeah, we kind of Shrek'd that place, so very good job. Dude, I don't know, Rax. You're asking the wrong person on that one. There's Apollomost Murderous. And yeah, I'll just show off the battle a little bit here. You can kind of see more of it now that we're not focusing on anything else. Just get rid of that. There we go. Fun stuff. and stuff. It saves on artist time, Death Eagle. It's a lot easier to make one unit and then palette swap it 3 times than it is to make 4 units. Thank you, Overseer, as always. Much appreciated and much obliged. And if you know where you want to put that, do please let me know. I don't know, Loke, but they would have certainly been able to give them a good fight.
There you are, and none the worse for wear.
Indeed. I had hoped we might do more to help, but there seems to be no one left to fight.
A tactical withdrawal, perhaps?
We should give chase. Finish them off while we have the chance. Imagine the other surprise when they wake to find the war already won.
That, Alize. Dragon Age, you got it.
The light will expunge all life. Only you can forestall the calamity. Throw wide the gates.
No! 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 Not like...
Interesting to think about it, because she probably thought we were about to go. But in truth, she is the one who leaves here.
Oh no. Don't tell me. Are you all right?
I got a bit of a headache, but I'm fine.
Quickly! We must get her back to the encampment.
We will cover what she does later, and that's all I'm going to say about that for now. So, that is a fairly big victory for the Alliance. Well, how do I phrase this? I want you to remember the fairly big victory that just happened. I don't remember when it's going to come up, but it will come up, and I will mention it when we get there. So just put a pin in how sincere of a victory we just had over this army, okay? So the Garleans have been routed. Well done. But this exchange was no more than a test of our strength, like as not. They won't be taking chances now that the Emperor has joined the fray. They'll want to take their time and whittle down our defenses. Still, with your help and that of our eastern allies, we passed the first test. The line is unbroken. And let's be clear, that wasn't a guarantee. As I've said before, I'm pretty sure this battle would have been a loss, if not for us. And I'm not trying to overemphasize this. I really do think that this was a near victory, and that's why our presence helped push it into victory territory. As for Alize, she's in good hands at the infirmary. For the Horde. My lord, the surgeons have completed their examination of Mistress Alize, and it is as we feared. She is locked in slumber without any outward cause, just like the others. Damn it all. The Garleans picked a fine time to come knocking. 5 scions incapacitated, the enemy at the doorstep, and I cannot spare the men to assist in the search for a cure. Best I can do is see to it Alize is escorted back to the Rising Stones. Fair enough, Overseer. I wouldn't disagree with you. I guess my point is the story is emphasizing it more now, which I enjoy. I like feeling like I'm actually significant for these events. And I'm, power fantasy, whatever you want to call that. I do like feeling like I am helping tilt the battle, which I haven't really felt in several previous encounters. There's been exceptions, of course, but you know what I mean. Compare and contrast this to when the resistance base was hit at the beginning of Stormblood, for example. The main contingent of our forces from the Far East are under sail. All must be raid ready for the arrival. Yeah, we're going to need food and supply lines and food and supplies and food and food and food, because we are about to establish a defensive line, which we have to hold. Yeah, fortunately, I got your back. No, okay, back to being Reaper. God, that health difference. Oh, absolutely. Classic game lover. Taking down Xenos while empowered by Shinryu, or vice versa, however you want to think of that, was a very good moment and deserved the pluses it got. Oh, right. I need to... Where's my gameplay stuff? Here we go. Yeah, we need to get some corpse recycling going on. There's plenty of food out there. Welcome home. Word has it, you and Mistress Alize gave the Garleans a thrashing. Where is Alize? Well, that's actually a more difficult question to answer than you'd think. Why are you charging the front line as a culinarian? By the 12, not her too. Ochre and I will be ready for her at the arrival. I will need to send a message to Totaro. Would that I had something other than grid tidings to share with her. You too, for that matter. Grieves me to report the Archon's condition remains unchanged. As we speak, Coltene, Krile, and Master Matoya continue to explore every possible avenue. Alas, their efforts have yet to bear fruit. All is not lost. You're still hale and whole, though I suspect you may be tired. Rest for a while. Yeah. And if I'm not mistaken, that was the end of a patch. I don't have that list up here, because I've already moved on to the other list. Scroll down. Yep, that was the end of a patch. Or rather, this is the end of a patch. Meanwhile, at the border of Alamigo... I mean, the sooner you start, the better it'll be, Loke. Hey, look, it's Xenos. They have parents, Omega Legion? Do we know their parents? Yes, that's bad. Next patch. 2 quests from the end of Storm. Zemnos. Zelidimos? Elidimos? I don't know. Ah, Lore. Yours is a welcome face in these troubled times. Though if you've come to inquire about your stricken brothers and sisters, I'm afraid I have not to report. Coltene and the others continue their tireless search for answers, and I, too, have done all I can in my power to assist them, but alas. My apologies for the intrusion. I was told Master Alphinaud had been brought here. I wish to see if his condition had improved. Maxima! It is actually good to see you. Don't answer this. I hope we see more of Maxima in the future. Master Laura, I've heard about the part you played in driving the Empire's forces. Thank you. That you were able to stop them, if only for a short while, gives them hope. Really, Omega Legion? Wow. I realize how strange such words must sound coming from Garlean lips, but I speak them out of love I bear for my homeland. Because I wish to see an end to bloodshed. Yeah? That's why I chose to share all I know with the Alliance. Though I will be branded a traitor, I am content to bear that ignominy. 'Twill be a small price to pay if it prevents this con from escalating any further. But enough of my prattling. The war's not what brought me all this way. I came to see Master Alphinaud. An acquaintance of Lord Alphinaud. Far be it for me to turn away good company if you follow me. When word reached me Alphinaud had returned, it seemed... Did they not design the room yet? I guess I haven't. It seemed only right I'd visit him. Poor lad, it pains me to see him. Why would a streamer not pay attention to the stories of the games they stream? I guess that's why they call me the lore runner. Pains me to see him thus, but I take solace in the knowledge he is safe and well cared for. He fought valiantly. Oh, so you're saying I don't entertain Tim? Oh, I see how it is. The Popularis could not have wished for a more committed ally. I know not how he came to be so afflicted, but I pray a cure will be found soon. On an unrelated note, you may be interested to know I traveled here in company of another acquaintance of yours. He awaits my return at the north of Silverton. He'd be glad to see you if you could spare the time. Big reaction shot! Wait, sorry, I'm supposed to do that when we see who it is. Sorry, my bad, my bad. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at being a professional streamer who's been doing this for 9 years. It's faster. Yeah, I admit, I can't do the reaction shots. I can't be entertaining. I know that. It is what it is. And that's why I have this many viewers compared to other people. But as I've said before, I wouldn't trade that. I really wouldn't. There you are. Beginning to think you would not come. Sid! Oh, sorry. Reaction shot. There you go. Cool. We did it. No, see, if I wanted to do that, first of all, I'd wear a prop. And second of all, I'd bring on a character. Oh my god, it's Sid! Can you believe? Okay, I'm done. Sounds like you've been through the mill. You should have called me. Yeah, you stay here for a bit, Blue. Yeah. Though I confess, tracking down the missing souls isn't exactly within my field of expertise. As you may have surmised, I've heard much of Master Garlon growing up in Garlemald. Indeed, he has been a source of inspiration to me. Most Garleans would say he's a traitor, that he turned his back on his country. We of the Popularis consider him a revolutionary, a man willing to defy the Empire's dreams of subjugation, that his inventions might bring about a better future for all mankind. Whoop, okay, I'm jostling too much here. Please, revolutionary is a term best reserved for my work. I am but an Imperial defector who thought to aid another Imperial defector. Whatever Master Garlon says, I am humbled to find one in such distinguished company. I don't think I would make a good Rude, personally. Like, I don't even have the outfit for it. And I would need all kinds of props to actually make that kind of a thing happen. Sorry, Blue. Like most in the army, I never had the privilege of seeing Gaius without his mask. To think I walked halfway across the burn in the presence of the Black Wolf. And he claimed to have severed ties with the Empire to hunt Ascians, did he? After the humbling at Praetorium, one would think he'd have the good sense to stay dead. Should we meet up again, I shall be sure to tell him so. Commander Alden also spoke of the Empire's meeting with the Emperor, though I labored to believe what he told us. Did His Radiance really claim Garlemald was founded by the Ascians? That's madness. Every notion of it is absurd. Every fiber of my being rails against it, yet there is no escaping the truth. From the very founding of my homeland, my brothers and sisters have laid down their lives in service of a lie. The Ascians must be stopped, to save my people and to save all peoples. Asahi is extremely dead, yes. For all the Empire's many crimes, even I did not suspect. Had I known, I would have left a lot sooner. But that's in the past. Here in the present, we must apply ourselves to the problem of how the Empire's ambitions may be thwarted, not only in Eorzea, but in the Far East as well. Died screaming. The Ironworks will spare no effort to achieve that end. Siryu's wall. Genbu's wall! Come on! Was a good start, but we can do more, and we will. We'll show them what it means to achieve freedom through technology. Begging your pardons, I bear a message for the Warrior of Light. Oh, that's me. What can I do for you? I'm requested at Alamigo for a strategy meeting. Well, I guess that's my call. The inevitable messenger. I knew someone would call you away. So can I take you there by the Excelsior? He died. Sid pokes his head in, screaming. See, I'm not entertaining. Y'all are the ones who are entertaining. I just kind of go with the flow. I swear every time you board my airship, you seem to be barreling headlong into danger, and every time you somehow contrive to emerge victorious, which is an admirable skill. But no one's invincible, not even you, so take care of yourself out there, hint hint. Pray you remain safe on the front lines. My colleague and I have been tasked with evacuating casualties by air. See that you're not amongst them, okay? Oh, Asahi's death is quite satisfying. One of the reasons I decided not to give him further negatives. Commander Alden is awaiting if it would be best if we proceeded to Alliance Command headquarters at once. Yeah, my favorite part about Asahi dying is no one mentions it, really. Did you catch that? Like, no one even really talks about it. It's just like, yeah, you know, whatever. Everyone's like, oh no, Yotsuyu. I don't have the portal yet. Oh no, I do have the portal, because I'm technically 90 right now. I'm about to be 70 again. Bunch of cutscenes are about to play. I'm actually going to do a very brief AFK before we do this. And then we're going to get our silver number for Stormblood, because this is the last quest. So I'll be right back. D-Star isn't frightening. I mean, she's a little frightening. If you're a penguin, she's terrifying. I never actually died to this fight, but I remember it being pretty rough.
There have been several skirmishes along the border, but as yet neither side has delivered a decisive blow. We had long assumed that the Garleans would overwhelm us in a straight fight, but we seem to be gaining ground, albeit slowly. As to why that might be, the most likely explanation is that they have yet to commit all their forces. Still, we're winning, and our latest intelligence suggests the Emperor has retreated back to Garlemald. In light of this, we're considering launching an offensive with the aim of pushing the front line forward and giving ourselves some room to breathe.
Commander! The Imperials! They've broken through our defenses to the east!
What?
Our scouts say their forces are being led by Lord Xenos. Lord Heian and Commander Hext have taken their troops to provide support, but we don't know how long they can hold out.
So, they've been biding their time, waiting for his arrival, have they? Very well. Send word to our allies, requesting reinforcements for the front line.
1 legion, Blackwell. Out of however many.
Should the worst come to the worst, I may need to enter the fray myself. But what of you? Do you still have the strength to fight?
I mean, I guess. No, I'm good. We got this. We got this.
He may not die as such, but to see Lord Xenos fall on the battlefield would deal a heavy blow to Imperial morale. I'll see to it the men stay clear.
Yeah, seriously. Pull the troops away from Elidibus. I'll deal with that. Okay, this is bad timing.
They open.
Because you keep missing.
Please. I bid you open.
By the way, go ahead and make your argument, Giga Pudding. Or save it until we're at the fight. But you have to make an argument. You can't just say this is a negative. You gotta hit me.
What's wrong? Is it the voice again?
Yeah, I need to hurry. I need to really hurry.
To do this.
Yeah, this is him grabbing the Ruminator.
Grant us strength.
Ruminator, no!
Give 'em hell, lad. I, for my part, will defend this place to my dying breath.
Yeah, don't let it come to that. Quit. Meanwhile, like a few 100 feet that way. Not much of a meanwhile. Oh, there you go. That's... No, Greg. That's when he grabbed Greg. Oh, I forgot about this. I really did. Okay, what do we got? Okay.
Ready?
I just want you to know, I'm a better swordsman than you, Hien. Nothing personal. Buy me some time so I can get up here. Do you notice that Lys and Yugiri and Hien are all fighting Xenos? And this is Xenos' body, being controlled by Elidibus. So, as much as I really hate to agree with Xenos being super powerful, it makes perfect sense that these three, who are powerhouses, would not be able to stand against Xenos piloted by Elidibus.
This one's for you, Ada.
No, yeah, I agree. In this case, it makes sense that these three can hurt him, can stall him, but not actually beat him. I agree with Rax, too. I agree firmly with the idea. I agree firmly with the idea that this is not Xenos at his peak. In fact, to be perfectly blunt, I'm pretty sure the Xenos we beat is higher tier than the Xenos that is on the field right here. Yeah, exactly. All the strength, none of the skill. Elidibus probably is still trying to figure out how to even run this meat puppet. Strength, my friends. It would not do to have Laura arrive and find us battered and broken. Oh yeah, by the way, in chat, they're saying our job is to hold him until Laura shows up. They're actually saying that. So that's not just me being me. I love that way of putting it. Elidibus stole the keys to a tank and is trying to figure out how to pilot it. And yeah, they're periodically talking about how far away we are. Oh, sorry, yeah, we've actually literally got a timer up there in the upper right. I don't think I've noticed that before, to be completely honest. No. Meanwhile, Lisa's like, no, you don't.
Here it comes.
Ow. Well, that's one way to do that.
The weave of a shinobi's power.
Is that a 4 stack? My goodness, Yugiri. Why can't we do 4 mudras?
The art of my forebears.
Coming! I should just hit my sprint button. I mean, I tend to be against no mid-mission checkpoints in general, so I see your point. You know what? I actually agree with you, Omega Legion. We know how strong Elidibus is because of spoilers, so... yeah. This is actually him being limited, which is just really funny to think about. Oh, and if it wasn't extremely obvious that we've got the whole trust prototype going on, this is extraordinarily obvious that this is a trust prototype right here. And by prototype, I mean more like the 5th version of the prototype at this point. Almost there. Stay on target. Stay on target. He comes, does he? Then I need not waste my time on you. We pushed him to half health. Not too bad. I have played up to Shadowbringers, but not through Shadowbringers, and I have not played Endwalker, Argamon. So no spoilers.
Fall, fiend! Ah!
You get it!
A small point, but Elidibus here is holding him back with just one hand, while it requires Heian's both hands to be able to try and barely hold that. Oh, nice punch! Jesus, Lise! Oh yeah, and in case you missed that, that was a spell that Elidibus just cast, which is of course relevant. Oh, absolutely, Blade Cheval. Although, from a gameplay perspective, it's more, you know, about...
Magic. With a Garlean body. That's hardly fair.
And yeah, we are sprinting out here.
Still, he must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Which, if you think about it, means we probably arrive at this battle winded. Like, we're effectively force marching full tilt to get out here. Before, you know, he kills our friends and allies.
Ah, bringer of light. It has been too long.
Good job, Ian. Get the hell out of here.
No words to mark our reunion? So be it. Equilibrium must be restored, and only your death will redress the balance.
I like what you've done with your mask. Is this new? Notice we're doing substantially more damage to him than they were. Not easy, but the others were kind of scratching the paint. Yeah, exactly, Blade Cheval. Yeah, this fight is actually pretty rough, like I mentioned earlier. I never died to it. This was a mean fight. I had to earn this one. Try not to kill him.
Yeah.
Perfect. And shunk!
I see.
I wanted to kill him with the big hit. I felt like showing off, sorry.
Your mother chose her champion well. Yet, for all your strength, you will still fail.
Please. Really bad timing. Although, in fairness, as we've mentioned before, any of the previous iterations would have been worse timing.
Someone calls to you. Too late, alas.
Also, interesting point of note, Elidibus is sufficiently skilled and versed in etherical interactions to immediately on sight identify the summoning that's happening. Now, fortunately, I'm just going to give this away right now. We don't leave behind a body. We're the only ones who don't leave behind a body. That's important.
I found you.
It's important for a lot of reasons, actually. So just keep that in mind. Who's this guy?
Please, there's no cause for alarm. Though, I confess, this is not where I had intended to meet. But the place of our meeting is of no consequence, like the war you wage. Win or lose, the path you walk leads only to oblivion. The better path leads you here, to me. I have need of your strength. I'm afraid such questions will have to wait. We have precious little time, and your work is not yet done. Go to the Crystal Tower. I have left something for you near its base. It will serve as a beacon of sorts. One which I pray will help you on your journey.
You're right, sorry, we're not actually gone yet. I forgot about that little step. My bad.
All you need do is find it. I will take care of the rest.
And in the interest of fairness, aiming at someone in another dimension on another planet is kind of hard to do. Like by modern text, never mind what he's doing.
Soon, we will throw wide the gates. And the path to the first will be yours to walk at last.
Yeah, he was almost out of ammo, too. That's really messed up to think about in hindsight. Hi. Wait, no, I'm not a zombie! Damn it. Yeah, actually, I agree with that, Loke. It's not that he has bad aim. He actually has extraordinarily good aim. It's just what he was aiming for was a gnat's ass. 7,000 miles away. In another dimension. Across time.
You're awake. Thank heavens.
So, yeah, what happened? Why are we not dead?
I see you recall that much, at least. In the midst of your duel, it is said you faltered, and that the Crown Prince seized the opportunity to deliver a mortal blow. Yet before his blade could find its mark, he was distracted by the arrival of a second adversary who bore you away from the battlefield and into the hands of our chirurgeons. Lest you wonder, he left before you awoke. As is his wont.
Thanks, Estinian.
Estinian never was one for emotional farewells.
Actually, I agree with that, Omega Legion. Completely.
Though Xenos bested all before him, the battle clearly took its toll, for he retreated shortly after your rescue. Seeing this, the remaining Imperial forces decided discretion was the better part of valor and pulled back, allowing us to re-establish our position.
And it's worth noting from a political and morale perspective, the Warrior of Light beat Xenos. Regardless of the specifics and the nuances and the nature of what happened, that's the message that's being spread across both lines. So we at least accomplished our main goal.
Word of renewed unrest in the provinces, doubtless inspired by the efforts of the Eorzean Alliance and our Far Eastern allies. Nor does the good news end there. We have also come into possession of intelligence suggesting unrest within the Imperial Court. This would certainly explain why both the Emperor and Lord Xenos appear to have abandoned the fight. A long-awaited ray of hope in these dark times.
I'll take that as a compliment, Kay, but no. I just like this outfit. So, how are the Scions?
Yet to awake, I'm afraid. But please, concentrate on your own recovery for now. You have carried the hopes of some half-dozen nations, and we are all eternally grateful for your efforts. But no one is without their limits, not even you.
Yeah, actually, I gotta get to the Crystal Tower.
Leave this fight to us, my friend. You have earned your rest. But before I forget, I was asked to deliver a message as soon as you awoke. A reminder that you are not alone, though many of your allies have fallen. When you are well and rested, you are to return home, where friends will be waiting for you. Now, if you will excuse me, I must return to the front. May we meet again soon, under happier circumstances.
And canonically, like, there's some kind of hug happening here. I just want everyone to know that. Because Aymeric is, in almost every way that matters, our brother. Like, you can decide your own perspective on that with your Warrior of Light, but my Warrior of Light is that man's brother. I'm sorry. That was the most unexpected surprise. I thought you can find a bed. You know me. Speaking of which, another man that's probably about to get a hug. When I heard you collapsed in the field of battle, I confessed I feared the worst, but with you standing here before me now, I see the reports of your defeat were greatly exaggerated. Thank the Fury. I mean, I get it. Hugging is hard to animate. I don't care. A hug happened. A hug happened! As long as we have you, Master Runner. History suggests we have a fighting chance. Speaking of fighting, you may be surprised to hear the war's efforts can already be felt here in Ishgard. In anticipation of a need for reinforcements, Artorial will soon be departing for the front lines with a contingent of our finest knights. I would advise you to stay until your strength is returned, but I know it'd be an exercise in futility. Indeed, I suspect you have already decided on your next destination. Dark days lie ahead, I have no doubt, but the light of hope shall ever guide our steps, so long as we have the will to press forward, and press onward we shall. Farewell, my friends. I pray our next meeting will be under happier circumstance. So you know mine, Rax. I tend to think of myself more in the uncle position, but of course I do. I am an uncle. So I've got a little bit of a bias leaning that way, right? So I think of Alize and Alphinaud as my kiddos. Aymeric and Enchefant, those were the brothers. Otem, he's the dad. I feel like I'm missing a few there, actually. Like Hugbert! But, oh yeah, Estinian. Estinian's, it's not my brother, he's no familial thing there, but Estinian's my bro, you know what I mean. Y'shtola, sexy wife. No, I'm joking, I'm joking. Poor Oriange. Taro is awesome. No other title necessary.
By the 12! I don't believe it!
Riol is pretty legit, too. And Hoary Boulder! There's another hug coming in here, I'm just saying. Poor Totaro, it's okay, it's okay.
I rushed back as soon as I could. I swear, my heart nearly stopped when I heard you'd collapse like the others. What in heaven's name is going on?
A lot. I need to go to the Crystal Tower. ASAP. Yeah, we can have bite bread, we should have hug. Okay, the real problem, for real, about hugs, is look at my model and then look at Kata's model.
Win or lose, the path you walk leads only to oblivion. Oh, well, that's helpful.
Essentially, they would have to do a loose jury rigging, because remember, you can vary your height, too. So even the dimensions of your character are not static based on race. So they'd have to do a very vague kind of a hug, per race, per gender, per cutscene they wanted to do a hug in. That is a lot of work for a hug, admittedly. So that's why I'm not making too much of a fuss about it. But I totally just give a hug right there.
The better path leads to him?
Yeah, Lalafell should have a glove.
His is the voice you've all been hearing. Perhaps the others are with him. Sir Emeric said the fighting had reached a stalemate, didn't he? But if that monster masquerading as Xenos comes back... Thancred, Y'shtola, Urianger, Alphinaud, Alize. You're going to need all of them on your side to defeat him.
And yeah, that's why the hug between Urianger and Munbrida is fine, because that's two static objects, which they know the dimensions of, so they can work around that.
And I forbid you from going to face him on your own, do you hear me?
Well, I mean, she's the boss. Ironically, I do not face Elidibus alone.
So if you must leave, go and find the others. Bring them home.
Think about it. We followed her directive.
As for where to start, you said the stranger had left a beacon for you at the Crystal Tower, right? But how are you to find it, now that the tower has been sealed shut? There has to be a way. If anyone would know,
It's Sid, and the researchers of St. Coinac's find. Don't you worry. We'll find that beacon for you.
No, I have not, Jorian. I am not that far. Meanwhile, something, I think, if this is the cutscene I think it is, this is where things really start to piss me off a little bit. But I'll let it go. No, this isn't it, I don't think. Never mind. Hey, the twins are still there.
I pray you have good reason for abandoning the front.
How could I remain there while the rumor that my son is possessed by a demon spreads like a sickness here at home?
Remember that campaign Thancred started, and the shinobi pursued?
I will not be made to fight for the throne a second time. But what of you? Did you not tell me you would destroy Eorzea's champion with the ease that one might swat a fly?
A minor setback. He will not escape me again. Where is your grandsire? I would have words with him.
Oh.
How should I know? Do you hide from each other's sight as well? I imagine he's doing what all Ascians do.
He must have found a way to take advantage of this turmoil.
Men are not pawns to be played with, Ascian. You underestimate us at your peril. This war will not be decided by you and yours. Man must choose his own fate, and I, for my part, will do all within my power to see Garlemald emerge victorious.
Whatever. I do too, Wenlock. I mean, they are father and son, Kate. Well, kind of. That's father and the son's body being possessed by an Ascian, so it's whatever.
Pray forgive the intrusion, Your Radiance, but the requested preparations are now complete. We stand ready to begin production of Black Rose upon your order.
I still don't get what's with this. It's such a weird and unnecessary little scene, but whatever. Just that last little tidbit. It's just, yeah, it feels completely out of place, and frankly isn't really even consistent with his character. Oh, right. And I believe... Nope. Hang on. I made you a new traveling outfit, which I do have and will never use. Don't ask me to. I think there's one... I was gonna say, there's always at least one more cutscene. Ah, yes. Xenos. Look at the floor. It meshes.
My enemy. My friend. Had I been but a step faster.
Bloody savages!
A pity your hunt leads you elsewhere. Not that I am surprised. May you find joy in it. Grow stronger, more savage, and savor every triumph. In the meantime, I will reclaim that which is rightfully mine.
Yeah. He's still got all his skill, doesn't have the body to back it up. Although there's more to it than that, but we'll cover that more later. Meanwhile, up to 3 now. You know, it's funny you say that, Kay, because we don't. Not until the next expansion. You did the Crystal Tower raid, right? If I'm not mistaken, in the midst of a requiem for heroes, a voice rings out across time and space. In fields of tranquil light, sow you seeds of darkness. If I'm not mistaken, when that came out, Crystal Tower wasn't actually mandatory. Correction? Yep, nope, I'm right. So yeah. How many people hadn't done CT when they're like, hey, Crystal Tower. Alright, so let me think about where I want to be from this. I need to be here, but I don't want this song. There's a good song. Because we're gonna spend a little bit of time doing a little bit of something. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go to a place where there's some music that I actually like. Don't mind me. Yep, nope, we got a trailer to play. I'm gonna hold off on that for a second. Yeah, pretend this place doesn't exist. It's just some random place. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's nighttime, unfortunately, but whatever. This will have to do. Alright, before we actually do the trailer, which we will, of course, be doing after the lunch break, it's time to tally up and give us our silver number for Stormblood. That's actually a good question. I'm not sure. So give me a moment. I've got to do a little bit of math. 304. I've actually got to do a lot of math. All right. I think I'm cool. I think everyone's cool for giving 733 negatives to Xenos. Everyone confirm? All right, cool. Cool. Double checking my notes because I actually have several notes just for you, Omega Legion. I'm actually pretty sure that most of the numbers are locked in. I just need to verify. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Just for you, Gigapudding. What's a silver number? Well, a golden number can't exist for this, because obviously we're not done yet. But the silver number is a brand new invention we just came up with just a few weeks ago, really, in order to quantify the rating for an individual expansion. Just a way to kind of see how the expansions of a specific game rate against each other. To be clear, FF14 as a whole will get a golden number at the end. I'm gonna unintentionally mute myself here because I'm actually gonna pull up my calculator. So give me a second. Yeah, you notice I'm not actually done with the side quests in Shadowbring yet. I'm very close. I've got about 10 left for the zone I'm actually in right now, and then like a handful in Ang, or not Ang, what's the name of that stupid place? What's the name of that stupid? Ilmeg. I've got like a couple quests here, and that's actually it. And otherwise, I'm done with all of the side quests for Shadow before we even get there, so that won't be delaying us anymore. They could Loke, but I wouldn't bother, because I don't care. This is probably something we're only going to keep for something like MMOs, because Hearts of Stone is not a full game. Stormblood is a full game. This is really something that's only going to be the domain of MMOs. You know, BC, Burning Crusade, excuse me, will get a silver number. But Shivering Isles does not. That's what I'm calculating right now on Falkenstein. No, I'd probably give, you know, I'm not actually sure about Falkenstein. We'll see when we get there. Hordes of the Underdark would not qualify either. It's just MMOs. I'm just... There, done. It's just MMOs. So, as a bit of a numbers thing here... Hi, Bragwin. ARR was 7,637 minutes long, because it's easier to calculate minutes. Heavensward was 4,274 minutes, substantially shorter. How long do you think Stormblood was? Whoops. I guess the better question is, do you think it was longer or shorter than Heavensward? I'm going to go ahead and give this away. It's shorter than ARR. Everything's probably shorter than ARR. I can't imagine anything's going to be as long as ARR. God damn it. Has anyone else been having this issue with, like, Google Docs just taking forever to load lately? It's been having I've been having that problem for the last couple of days. Come on. So longer than Heavensward, longer than Heavensward, longer than Heavensward, longer than Heavensward. Still waiting for the document to load. Am I here? Do I have internet? This is with the shortened ARR patch content. ARR still absolutely stomps everything else in terms of duration. In fact, to give you a bit of perspective, I'll give you a number that isn't in minutes so it's easier to understand. ARR is almost 60 hours of gameplay longer than Heavensward, even with the shortened patch content. Hey, it just loaded. Okay, here we go. That took a minute. Okay. But I'll go ahead and give it away. Stormblood is, in fact, longer. Not much longer. It is, in fact, 10 hours longer. I guess that is a bit, but, I mean, really, in terms of streaming time, that's only 1 day longer than Heavensward. It is still substantially shorter than ARR, as that's not changing, like I said. I really doubt anything's going to surpass ARR in sheer duration. Yet, 4,876 minutes. So, we have 91 pluses to story, gross, and 36 pluses, gross, to negative. So that's going to be, hang on, let's do a little more math. 91 and 36. A 71% ratio on story, which actually puts it just barely above ARR in positive ratio, for perspective. But a decent amount below Heavensward in terms of story ratio. If you know what I mean by ratio, it means the percentage of total points that is positive. So in other words, the story is worse than Heavensward. Lore shock. I know we were all kind of surprised by that one. But that means a net plus 55 to story, which is actually pretty damn good. Sorry. Some more math here. Got always the math. Gameplay-wise, this is the one I'm really curious about. 74 gross points to gameplay. 39 gross negatives to gameplay. More than I thought there would be, if I'm being honest. There's some class issues that really drag that down, and a lot of side quests, but not as many as before. So let's see. That's going to be... a moment. Let's see how this rates. Yep, that is a substantially better gameplay ratio than both previous expansions. No surprise there. So, it's for a bit of perspective, ARR had a 55% on the gameplay, which means it is just barely net positive on gameplay. Heavensward had a 65%, or sorry, 50, well, no, I'm sorry. ARR had 48%, which actually means it was net negative on gameplay. Sorry, my bad. Heavensward had 55%, which was just barely net positive. Stormblood crawls up to 65%, which is when the gameplay really starts to actually do something. And yeah, I remember TP. God, I remember TP. Jesus Christ. Such a dumb thing to do. So that's going to be a net 35 to gameplay. So if you care about the finite number, oh, that's interesting. That, for example, ARR had a -3 to gameplay. Heavensward had a +11, and Stormblood has a +35. I think that speaks for itself, and frankly, that's exactly what I was expecting. Now, let me do a few more numbers here, and I'll tell you all the silver numbers. We'll get some drum rolls in a second. Give me a second. Is it daytime yet? Can I get some Lahi? No, it's 11 in-game. Alright. So, a bit of perspective. The silver number... US and Corp? Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I'll do it right now, live. The silver number of A Realm Reborn is 92.73. A good game. Honestly, completely buoyed by the story, because the gameplay was a net negative. I don't know what else to actually say about that. Scroll down to Heavensward, whose silver number was 178.20. A very good game. But then we go up to Stormblood. Drum roll, please. For this 228.78. For a bit of perspective, if I was just reviewing this expansion, that would put it in the number 3 slot overall. Now again, MMOs are different. That's the whole reason we divide MMOs to other games. But for a bit of perspective, that's where Stormblood sits. It's also interesting to think about because Stormblood and Heavensward both have the same net total of positives, 90. It's just almost all of Heavensward's are story, but Stormblood's are far more evenly spread out. Worse story, much better gameplay. And I stand by that, by the way. You might think, but Lore, you have so many issues with Stormblood, and I absolutely do, which I stand behind, I feel like pointing out. But the problem is, what do I value? Someone in chat, tell me right now, when it comes to, you know, something like the golden number. Gameplay and story. Absolutely. Lore, runner. That's what I value. That's why I have no problem saying that Stormblood is better than Heavensward. And I'm going to stand by that sentence, by the way. Because while Heavensward has a much better story, and it does, the fact of the matter is Stormblood is substantially less frustrating and irritating to play through, and is overall better on the gameplay axis in multiple ways. So Stormblood rating higher than Heavensward makes perfect sense to me, because it's funner to play. Just double checking to make sure the document updated properly, which it looks like it did. Yep, no issues. Yeah, Warlords of Draenor is a perfect example. Frankly, I think when we review WoW, Warlords will review quite well. Because Warlords did a lot of really good things on the gameplay axis. And yeah, you're right. FF14 has been a consistent climb upwards, and I do stand behind that. That one little interruption for quitting the game for a couple of years notwithstanding, once I came back to it and stopped trying to play it with my friends and just started playing it like a solo game, I started enjoying the game substantially more. And by playing, I mean enjoying, you know what I mean. So, I need to double check a couple things, make sure that's there, make sure that number is saved there. And I put the 228 there, right? Yep, I did. So, what we're going to do is I'm going to take the lunch break early. I sort of anticipated this. I'm going to go ahead and eat. It's going to be a short lunch break. I don't know how long I'm going to be. I'm just going to do until I do. But once I've done eating, stretching, and meditating, because that helps me to recover a little bit, then I'm going to come back, and then we're going to start Shadow. So, I do hope you all have enjoyed this Stormblood run to date. Now we're getting into the really good stuff. So, I'll see you in a bit.